Oh my God. I am never gonna financially recover from this.
Hello there, toy collectors. My name is Kevin, aka Toying Around, and I am very excited to bring you this special review. Hello there, everyone. Happy Thursday. My name is Kevin, aka Toying Around. I'm a toy collector, toy photographer, and a sometimes toy reviewer, and you're watching Unboxing Thursdays. I have a huge pile of toys. It's not just there anymore. It's all over this room. And this stream is a weekly push for me to open stuff and unbox things so I can make space for, more toys. And this is basically a weekly wrap session with some of my friends in the toy collecting community, and we all discuss the different aspects of this hobby. So whether you're tuning in live or catching up later, you're driving to work, doing your workout, going for a run, don't forget to hit the thumbs up if you like what I'm doing here and every week, and subscribe with the notifications on. Go tell your friends, go tell everybody, go tell your mom and dad, tell your kids that I'm on live right now. And, it all goes a long way in supporting the channel, sharing it, making it work in the almighty YouTube algorithm. And I appreciate that. So thank you very much. Let's see. Last week had an interesting and very insightful and entertaining chat with Sergeant Bananas. You know him on Instagram, and Kyle, who works at Super 7, and it was awesome. And we had a surprise guest. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out later. It was a fun time. Next week, March 25th, I will be chatting with Adam Van Wickler. You know him as Playing With Myself. He's on the Toy Migos. He's got 100 different aliases. And let's see, that's the 25th. April 1st, the Enablers will be back. And I think we had such a fun time last time. Everyone who was watching kind of enjoyed it. At least I think so. No one said they hated it, so I'm basing it on what I've heard. So Mario, Mike, and Josh. Oh, man, I'm going to have to remember their names. They'll be back on April 1st. And April 8th, I believe, will be Dark Jokers who is on the same podcast, the Infinity Equation podcast, as my guest tonight. He is Bobby Vala from the Valaverse.
What's up?
What's going on, man?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited for this.
I've been a fan of you on the Rinky Dink podcast known as the Infinity Equation. And, just watching you guys week after week, I feel like I've got to know a little bit more about each person. And, I've loved to talk to you about everything that you do, man.
Thanks for tuning into the Rinky Dink show. I love that show. I love being on there with those guys. Those guys are my brothers. I really look forward to Friday nights and, talking smack, getting wild. It's a nice loose show. So it suits me perfect.
Absolutely. It's like you can't go out now really to see your friends. I don't know how it is in your area, but like this is your virtual hangout with your buddies every Friday, right?
Yep.
That's very cool. In the off chance that people watching right now aren't familiar with who you are and what kind of stuff you're into, can you give them a quick summary?
Sure. I am Bobby Vala. I am the owner and operator of Valaverse, which is an adult collectible toy company. I've spent many years in the toy industry at Hasbro as well as some other companies. Spent a lot of time on Marvel Legends, but overall worked on tons of MCU movies. So spent almost 7 years at Hasbro working on product, and then went out on my own, started my own company, and now my flagship line Action Force has been in production now. It started out as a crowdfunding Kickstarter and has just, gained momentum over the last year or so. And now we're at the tail end and the product is about to ship. So I'm very excited about that.
Ooh.
So yeah, that's kind of it in a nutshell. But I'm a huge fan of toys and collecting. I've been doing it my whole life. So
Perfect.
My job kind of suits my personality, I guess.
Nice. What kind of stuff? Well, your whole life, what was like the earliest collectible for you that you can remember?
Oh man, like as a kid, it was like GI Joe was my jam. Like you see my room, it's like this is GI Joe Central. I have every GI Joe figure made just about. So for me, it was GI Joe. Like that was it. That was my go-to. But I've always said that I grew up in a perfect time. I know like guys that were like hardcore 80s kids were like, no, we had the best time. It's like, no way, man. I got the 80s and the 90s. So like I got the like from 85 to 89, and then the early 90s. So like that's when you had Batman the Animated Series, you had X-Men. So you had like these great new toys and collectibles that came out, all these new licenses, that were great and that lived with everything else that I had. So I had, like I remember down in my basement, my dad had like a big workbench, and like half of it he gave to me for all my toys, and I had my Kenner Bruce Wayne Manor Batcave that unfolded out from Batman Returns. So I had that set up, and then it's like I had created this Batcave on the workbench, and I had all my bat suits. But it's like I had the Superpowers Batman, I had the '89 Toy Biz Batman, then I had the Batman Animated Series Batman. So it was like I had every range of Batman there. So it was just fun to span all those years of collecting. So I had it great. It's like something weird like Muscle Man that I had in the 80s. I had monsters in my pocket in the 90s. So, I had it great. So I collected everything. Like it was when I was a kid, I had everything, and I've started to go back now and buy the stuff that I had as a kid. And like I had like obscure stuff, like there was a weird obscure line that had a show that ran for one season that Mattel put out. Like it was called like I think it was just called King Arthur or King Arthur and his Knights or something like that. And it was about like this football player who gets sent back in time and he becomes like King Arthur and he's with all like his knights. But I remember the figures being super cool. I went back and bought those. I thought they were great. I mean, monsters in my pocket. I've gone down a rabbit hole with those, man. I bought one set and now it's like every night I'm looking at new monsters in my pocket stuff because I'm like, I gotta have every version now. So it's cool to go back and collect that old stuff. It just kind of brings back some memories and nostalgia is something you can never break.
Yeah, especially with becoming adults with some disposable income, you're gonna go back and try to find that stuff.
Yeah.
We have a super chat from some guy named Laser Pants.
This guy, kick him out of the super
chat. He says this is all after his failed porn career. Wait, this is we're trying to keep it a little classy here, Ryan. I don't know what's going on. But thank you for the super chat. I hope that felt nice to get that comment in there and have it read on screen for you. So, but thank you very much.
I have to correct Ryan. It wasn't a failed porn career. It was a failed porn comic career. I don't think I've ever told this story live, so I'll give you the exclusive. I never even told it on the Infinity Equation.
This is a real thing?
This is a real thing. So when I got out of school, so me and Alex, who is another co-host on the Infinity Equation, we went to the Joe Kubert Art School together. It's like the school for drawing comics. Right. And he was so much better than me, so he had no problem getting work as soon as he got out. But it's like I did the grind. Like I was, doing pages and going to conventions and trying to meet editors and that sort of thing. And I remember I think it was San Diego Comic-Con. I was at San Diego Comic-Con and none of the big editors would talk to me. But then there's like, it's not quite Artist Alley, but it's not the big leagues. It's like there's this section in the middle that has like small press companies. Okay. There was like I remember they were like on like the end by the snack bar, and it was a company that did porn comics. And I was like, what the hell? Let me just talk to them. At this point, no one's talking to me. So I went and I talked to them, and I was like, all right, here's my work and this and that, and they were like, wow, your stuff's really good. Like, would you ever do porn comics? And I'm like, listen, man, I'm just trying to do any comics at this point. And it's like their stuff it was black and white. It was so like poorly done. It was just like raunchy porn comics. And I'm trying to think what year this was.
I didn't know that was a thing.
It was the same year that Talladega Nights came out, because that ties into the story. So whatever year Talladega Nights came out, that was the year that I went and I talked to them. Or it was like the year after that, because I talked to them and I didn't get work right away, but we stayed in contact. They reached out to me, hey, you still looking for some work? I said, yeah, sure. So they sent me, like, it was one of their books had like several stories in it. So I did like, a 6-page story, because you're not going to do a 22-page porn comic. It's like the story is pretty simple.
Yeah, be realistic. Come on.
Yeah, so
you only need like 3 minutes worth of pages. So.
Exactly. So then they gave me the script, and the page rate was like dog crap. It was probably like $10 or $15 a page. Now, if you know drawing comics, it's like it takes you a day and a half or a day to draw pages, and so it was like I was just trying to get some work just to keep drawing. So I did this book, and I'll never forget. It took place in a military plane hangar. So there was like, an F-16 jet there, and there was like the colonel, the guy, and then there was like the girl, like the secretary. She came in mini skirt, like with the military outfit, and then one thing leads to another, and they go to town. But I just remember like having to look up porn for reference, because I wanted to like get the poses right and stuff like that. Just like
for reference,
for reference,
for research, the age-old excuse.
You could write that stuff off. But I ended up doing this porn comic, and I remember like thinking, I can't really put my name on this. Like, this is bad. So I asked them, said, can I do it under a pseudonym? And they're like, yes. Yeah, sure. So if you remember in Talladega Nights, there's a scene where John C. Reilly's talking to Will Ferrell when he's kind of in a coma, and he's talking to him about when he did a spread for Playgirl. And he said, yeah, I went under the name Mike Honcho. That was the name I used on the comic. So,
all right.
Yeah. So
everyone go eBay that issue, right? Do you remember the issue?
I have to look it up, because
okay,
it was so many years ago. I had to send them the pages, because they took the pages and they had someone ink them, and I never got the pages. It's not like I was expecting to get pages back. Who knows if how long they were in business for, but I have a copy of it somewhere. I got to dig it out one of these days, but it's hilarious. It's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
It works so bad. The artwork's so bad.
You should definitely send that to Ryan. Real quick, I just want to shout out everyone who's in the chat right now. We're at like 60 something people. Thank you for coming out to check out some toys. Check out Bobby and his unexpected story there.
Sorry, you did it all. It's a perfect time to segue into that. So way to kick off the show.
We have Primero is here, Terrence King Megacon, Paul Morales, Monkey 29 DNA, Prime to the First is here. He'll be on April 1st. Aldaberto Carrillo. I've been practicing that name. I think you can hear it. Toy Chase, White Vegeta. Interesting. White Vegeta. What's going on? Thanks for coming out. Kyle's here. The toy page. Guys, go check out the toy page on Instagram. He did like a sit down kind of like this with Mez from Mezco. And it was really cool to because I don't think I've ever seen the actual Mez guy anywhere. So it was really cool to see Paige sit down and chat with him. So go follow the toy page on Instagram. Marcus Yee, Justin Tense is here. Johnny number Cinco. Ironhead, there's your buddy. He says, my mom says hello, Kevin. Hi, Alex. And Alex's mom. Aowind, High School Creations is here. He'll be back with 796 on April 1st as well. Ewan W., he has migrated over from the Infinity Equation to check you and, troll around here.
Troll master himself, man.
Yeah, I've made it big when I'm attracting trolls from other people's streams. Sean Reed, everybody on Twitch. This is also streaming on Twitch simultaneously. Thank you for watching there. If you are Stills, happy Thursday. That's pretty much everyone. 80s Baby is here. ML Series, Toy Chase. I said that. Win Dizzle. Ryan says, I kind of had this problem. Something like 8% of kids do it. But whatever, for some reason, I don't know why. It was just sitting around. Oh man, that was super bad, right? I think that's a quote from Superbad.
Yeah.
Papa Schmitty, Chris Johnson, Darth Clueless in the house, Hellspawn Hulk, Omar Vasquez, action figure expert Darren Sheffer, Schaffer, Alan Kenny. All right. Thank you very much, Butter Nation. Everyone's here. Bobby, people are here to see us talk some, silliness, but also open some toys. You've got a whole toy store behind you.
Yep.
What kind of stuff? Let people know what you have to open, and then we'll see people in the chat. Let us know what you want to see Bobby open first.
Sure. So the great thing about coming on this show is that I finally get to open stuff up, because I've been so busy with my Action Force stuff, and I just buy stuff all the time that I just pile it up. This is work, yeah. So I just pile it up on racks in my basement, and I'm like, great, now I can actually go. But I didn't realize how much stuff I bought that I haven't opened. So I grabbed an array of stuff that I want to open that I think you guys would like to see open. It's, kind of modern stuff. So I've got some NECA stuff. I've got a NECA, and a lot of this stuff is because, the guys on the Infinity Equation, especially Ryan, he'll buy something and be like, this is so awesome. And I take Ryan's opinion as gospel. So as soon as he says something's good, I just buy it. So he said King Kong was good. Doc Brown was good. Bought it. So I have those two to open.
He's like an enabler for you.
It's a total enabler. Total. He got me into Mezco. So, he could just tell me, although if he told me Super 7 was good, I'd probably say no. But we'll get into that. King Kong, Doc Brown, I got the Krang, the NECA Krang. I got the NECA Toka and Razor, so that's the NECA stuff. I have the Storm Collectibles Motaro that I'm looking forward to. I've got some Mattel wrestling. I've got Andre the Giant, my future wife Alexa Bliss, and the Ultimate Warrior. I've got some Star Wars Black Series figures. I've got Ahsoka Tano and the Endor Han Solo.
Nice.
Some Mezcos. I have the Ghostbusters set. I have the Supreme Knight blue and gray Batman, but I have the Supreme Knight all black Batman, which I was so happy to get. I have the Jazzwares new UFC Conor McGregor. I have a Mafex Batman Begins Batman. I actually have a G.I. Joe classified Zartan here, so we can open that up. And then I have some these knockoffs. They're they say they're 1/12 scale, but they're actually more SH figure art size. It's the Joker and Arthur Fleck, so it's the Joker from the new Joker movie. So I thought those were pretty cool. So that's kind of what I have. So if whatever you guys want to see, I'll open up.
Well, which one are you most excited about?
I think
yourself?
They're either the Supreme Knight Batman or the Motaro. Yeah. So those are the two I'm most excited to open. I'm also kind of excited to open up Zartan. I will admit, it's the one classified figure that I think is the best one they did, and Ryan got it for me, and I'm kind of interested to see how it looks in hand.
Let's see. Some of the people said, "Oh, the Tuesday crew is in the house." What's up, Tuesday crew? It is Thursday. Let's see. Ghostbusters. Papa Schmitty says Ghostbusters. What was the clown? Oh, the clown was the Joker. You said what was the company?
They're like knockoffs. Nothing special, I guess. Let's see. But I remember I did open up the Arthur Fleck just to see him. And he's tiny, like I said, he's figure art size, and it's his head fell off. So it's but they're cool because they're like Mezco. They're it's all soft goods, really great detail, but cool trying to knock off ones, because he's listed as Arthur Wayne, which is really funny, and this one's listed as the Clown. So.
They have to find creative names to avoid any sort of
exactly
name conflict. Although the figure is explicitly that character.
Yep. I hope I get big enough to the point where people are making knockoff versions of my figures. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, I'll do that.
They make good knockoff versions.
I'll do that. Yeah, well, whichever one you want to go with first. Some people said Zartan. They want to hear your thoughts on this Hasbro.
I'll open Zartan. We'll start with Zartan.
While you open, did you bring a knife?
Of course I did.
Oh, look at this guy. What a pro. What a pro, guys. I can show you.
I have a studio, so I always have X-Acto blades.
That's true. I got these from EB Games. This is the Peter B. Parker, and I don't think I'm gonna get the Mathx version, so I'm like, this should suffice. And this Silver Surfer, Obsidian Surfer, is pretty cool paint job on it. I also received from Plunderlings
Great figures.
the Raider Swoosh. You have a few, right?
I do, yeah. And listen, I missed their fawns.
Yeah.
And I was mad I missed their fawns, but I'm actually happy that it happened because that means that they're doing well. Like their stuff sold out in minutes. So I'm like, awesome, you guys are doing something right, you know? But their figures are amazing.
That's probably why people saw the first wave that came out, and they're just really, really clamoring for the fawns, and then now they're doing pre-orders of the first wave again.
I saw that. Good for them.
So that's really cool of them to make it available for everyone too. So that's the Raider Swoosh. TAXHF will have an exclusive line of Plunderlings apparel. You can see one here. That should be going up on the website next Friday, taxhf.ca. I got sent this Dino Fury Morpher.
My son just got one of those. Not that specific one, but he's all about the new like Power Rangers Beast Morpher stuff.
Oh, okay. So this is the series that's on right now. I've been watching with my kids, so I'm going to open this up and morph in front of you and then give it to my daughter tomorrow. And last but not least, this one, technically it will not be unboxed, but I'm pretty excited to get it. It's the Lucasfilm 50th Qui-Gon Jinn with the retro foil card. And that completes my set with the Duel of the Fates Obi-Wan and Darth Maul.
If anyone has an extra Qui-Gon, let me know. I want to buy one.
Is it not out yet, or are they not available?
Weren't they a pre-order or something? I usually miss all the pre-order stuff. I think it was a pre-order.
Yeah, it was a pre-order on Best Buy.
Right? Are they an exclusive?
Yeah, it's a Best Buy.
Best Buy, that's right. Oh wait, maybe you know what? I actually think I did order that. Never mind, scratch that. I did order it. I just have to remember. Yeah. The
show has become an open platform for people to make deals and also find sales at the same time. Let's see. Oh, Darth Clueless, thank you for the super chat. He says, will Action Force have a presence at Toylanta this weekend?
No Action Force presence at Toylanta. The next show that I will be at will be Joe Fest in Augusta at the end of June. Cool. So that's the next show for me. Because also there's no product, there's no Action Force product yet. So the factory's working super hard to make sure that I have product to get out to people and then have for Joe Fest. So because I also have a convention exclusive figure that I haven't shown yet. That's part of the line that will be offered at the conventions that I'll be present at. So I'm going to try to go to as many as I can after Joe Fest.
Awesome. Thank you, Darth Clueless, for that. Do you find, other than like production, how has the pandemic kind of messed up your game plan at all, or you're just moving?
It slowed production for them because the factory shut down for 6 to 8 months, and it took them to ramp back up to get to full capacity. It took them another few months after that. So and then my factory is also doing lines for many other companies, so it's like all that stuff's compounded. So it's a hard thing to get through, and it sucks because when I started this venture, I looked at past Kickstarters and I saw what people did right and what people did wrong, and I wanted to get away from that stigma of it taking 1.5 years, 2 years for a Kickstarter to deliver. I was like, I want mine to be on time. I want to make sure that I'm ready. I do everything right, and I felt like I was there. And then the pandemic happened, so I was like, crap, man. It got us in the end. So, but luckily, it's all going super well. The line is super successful. Series 2 won't be far behind Series 1, so it's all going to go smoothly now that everything is ramped up. So thankful to everyone who's been patient about it. I know everyone wants their stuff. I want everyone to get their stuff. So it's,
Right.
we're really close now. It's like months away. So awesome.
Yeah, I mean the pandemic, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
The way it's affected collectors too, and I'm not saying it's a real problem, but I feel like a lot of people they just don't have the patience
Yep.
sometimes
Yep.
to really understand how everything gets affected. So, but that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Let's see. Did you open your Zartan yet?
I did. I mean, I got to noisily pop him out of his blister.
Go for it. That's the ASMR section of the video. I also got in some holographic stickers.
Ooh.
I just got it in today of the logo. So I'm thinking of putting these. If people want to order hats, I'm thinking of ordering a bunch of hats. If you guys want, let me know. Message me on Instagram. I'll throw in some stickers on there too. Just figuring that out.
We are going to have to step up our game, and because we have stickers, but they're not holographic stickers. So, Ryan, we're going to have to tell Dante that we need better stickers. So,
sticker budget.
Yeah. All right.
Let me get rid of this. So when did you start the Valaverse officially?
January 2019. That was when I filed for my business license for the company.
Nice.
So yeah, that's when it started. The first Kickstarter was June of 2019. That one didn't fund, and then I started again. I think in September of 2019. Then it funded at the end of October, like very beginning of November, and then we've just been on this wild ride ever since.
Are you comfortable talking about how Action Force came to be into your hands?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would love to hear about that.
So, it's some people like it, some people hate it. I love it, but when I did this line, so it all kind of started because when I was at Hasbro in 2016, I was on the G.I. Joe brand, and they were talking about doing a third movie. And then that third movie ended up getting pushed off. But during that period, I was working on a 6-inch iteration of G.I. Joe. So, a classified version, but not classified. It was called something different. And, a Legend style started from scratch 6-inch line. Some other people at Hasbro had tried to pitch it before, but I had gotten the furthest. Like, I almost got us to tooling. Excuse me. I had items, I had waves throughout the whole year. We had it all planned out. I had wave 1 sculpted, and we were just about to get to tooling, and they pulled the plug on it because they thought, well, with no movie, we don't want to put any G.I. Joe lines out there, which, as we see now, that was a mistake. You could put G.I. Joe out without entertainment, and it will sell.
Right.
So that line got scrapped, but I was like, man, should have done it. Could have sold really well. And it always stuck with me. I'm like, man, we should have done that line. And so when I got let go from Hasbro, I knew there was a gap in the marketplace for 6-inch military. And I knew that they were eventually going to get 6-inch Joe back out, but I was like, I bet I could try to beat them to the punch. Like, let me get something out there. And I did, in the sense that it got it on people's radar, but they beat me to like getting product out because, they're a bigger machine. They can get this stuff out there quicker. But with my line, I knew I wanted it to be a unique line. I didn't want it to be, just a customer's line, just basic troopers or things like that. I wanted it to be, an IP. I wanted it to be a brand that could evolve and have characters and backstory. So I created some of the characters and the story, and then I was like, what am I going to call it? And, I was thinking about it, and a good buddy of mine who he got laid off from Hasbro at the same time, he was in charge of, securing the trademarks that were about to expire, that sort of thing.
Oh, wow.
He's like, you should look at some things that have expired, if you want to get something that's got some real estate to it, some value. So me being a big Action Force fan, Action Force was G.I. Joe in the UK, to put it in simplified terms. And, I looked it up, and that trademark had gone abandoned in 2005. And Hasbro had no intentions of ever using the name Action Force ever again. And to me, it was like, I didn't want that name to die. Like, I felt like someone should bring that out. Someone, because it was such a great line that it should live on. So even if it was in a rebooted manner. So that's what I did. I ended up purchasing the trademark. I took a couple, another trademark from Hasbro as well. And that's, yes, you can call my line a G.I. Joe ripoff if you want. That's fine. I got no problem with you calling it that. It's, flattery, I guess. But it's, it's my own thing. It's its own characters, its own story. Yes, it has Sergeant Slaughter. Yes, it is Steel Brigade. So if you want to call it a G.I. Joe ripoff, it's fine with me. I'm not mad about it. But, Joe fans love it, but toy fans love it as well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that all started with the name.
I think that's really cool, man. The fact that it was something that you grew up with and you enjoyed. I was watching the Toy Galaxy video on like the history of Action Force, and it was pretty confusing in terms of like its whole history with like Action Man and all that stuff. And then they just started putting out stuff that was G.I. Joe, but then they just put like an Action Force logo or something on it at one point.
Yep. If you want, I'm gonna shamefully plug another person's show on your show. Hope you don't mind. But if you guys want to like learn the real history of Action Force, Tony does a channel called Analog Toys. He's actually going to be on the Infinity Equation tomorrow.
Yes.
He is an expert in all things Action Force. Go to his channel, subscribe to his show, and watch his videos. He gives a really great in-depth discussion on the eras of Action Force and all things Action Force. So it's a great show.
Is he? Have you used him as a consultant at any point?
Well,
did this bounce ideas off of it?
So I'd always wanted, because I always watch his videos, and I'd always wanted to like talk to him, because it's like the guys that love Action Force, I kind of want their buy-off. I want their blessing for it.
Right.
So I had gotten to know Michael French from Retro Blasting, and then he was like, dude, I'm friends with Tony. You got to talk to Tony. I'm like, I would love to talk to Tony. I've been dying to talk to Tony. So we all got together in a chat, and I became friends with Tony recently. And, he loves what I'm doing with Action Force. So to hear what he thinks about Action Force is awesome for me. It's such an honor to have his buy off. So, I think it's great. And
you were on his YouTube channel, and
I was on his show. Now he's coming on ours.
Yeah, man, I love that. I love that. The camaraderie as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love that we're all on each other's shows. Guys are in each other's chats. Like, it's awesome. Because Tony comes in our chats. It's great.
I think who was on first? I don't remember if I was on Infinity Equation first or you guys were on. You missed the first one, unfortunately. I was hoping to have you back on since that episode, but I've gotten to know Ryan and Dante a little bit more over the past however many months from doing this kind of stuff, and it's just kind of cool.
Good dudes. I love it. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, we kind of have this tight knit group, and it's funny because like some people, like we're all friends, but it's like some people have some beef with some shows and some people, and some people are friends with other people and stuff like that. It's just kind of funny. It's a funny community in a way. All right.
So, have you had enough time with Zartan?
I've had enough time. Yeah.
Pros and cons.
I think it's a gorgeous figure. Like the design of this figure is awesome. Bravo to them for finally doing a figure that actually looks good. I mean, there's things that I will nitpick as a product developer, not as a collector. But I don't want people to think I'm just bashing on G.I. Joe stuff, because I think the figure's great. Like the sculpt on it is amazing. I love that they could have just given him a simple hood, but they put like some of that alligator skin texture on it, which is really nice. I really like that. The belt buckle has, cool detail on it. So, nice stuff,
Nice.
But like his belt buckle under there is got some really great detail. This is a great figure. Like this is a great looking figure. The small issues that I have with it, it's minor stuff, but I'll just say it just because it's like I wouldn't have done it this way. and this is a common thing with classified, is their vests do not come off, and I don't understand why. Why would you not give closures to your vests to have them come off? So it's like his vest, as cool as it is, doesn't come off. So it's like if you ever want to like customize them or put something else, you got to cut this, and that's annoying. You know, and it's not a simple thing where you can pop off the arms because there's butterfly joints. So if you try to pop that arm off, it's going to ruin those butterfly joints. So you maybe can heat this up and stretch it, but then if you try to get it back on, it's never going to be the same. So that really bothers me when they did vests that didn't come off, because all the vests on Action Force all have closures, so they could all come off.
I love it.
Belt, this secondary belt, which is an awesome belt because it's got the sheath on the back, it's glued to the back of him. Like this belt is glued to him. So like I can't take this belt off. So that's kind of silly. And it's like, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, this is the kind of stuff that you notice that you bring to your own brand, right?
Exactly, because you want, you know, yes, my line is about unique characters, but customizing is such a big thing in the community right now. You don't want to alienate customizers. You want to give them the option to change things out. So to not be able to get this belt off, it's like it's a big glue spot back there. Like that's not coming off. Like, you know, and if you do, you're going to damage your figure. Luckily, it's on the back, but it's still like they have to pay money for that hit of glue. Like that's part of the production. So you're spending money that you shouldn't be spending. Like you don't need to spend money for that glue operation. So
yeah, I think as the average collector, I never would have thought of that. Like, hey, every dab of glue counts. Mm-hmm. So that's why, like, I want to talk to you. You have this unique perspective. It's like, oh, these guys, you have some good points. Chris Johnson, thank you for the super chat and supporting the channel. He says, Bobby, do you think the con exclusive figure will be ready for Joe Fest? I believe you mentioned that.
Plan, man. Yep.
Earlier.
That's the plan. So
awesome.
Fingers crossed.
Well, I think the line is really cool. Action Force, like you do when you get your test shots in weapons and figures, you do live videos or you do YouTube. I think you did Facebook.
Yeah, I do. I try to do live streams with them because I think that's something I try to do, some things that other companies aren't doing. And I think what other companies aren't doing is that behind the scenes look, because things are so secretive and you can't show things before they actually happen. It's like, listen, people paid money to help this line be created. So I want them to be involved in this process. I want people to see how the process works. And people have like really dug that I do that. So if I could just give people that look, that inside look, like that's awesome, you know, because people seem to really enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you do the weapons packs that just came out. Yep. What was it, pre-order? Or is it second one?
Nope, they're shipping, you know. So I'm doing orders today. I'll do orders tomorrow. So they're all going out. This will be the second round of the weapons packs going up for order.
And I love another way that you not only do you show the test shots for your fans, you also pack orders live during the Infinity Equation.
I do. I feel bad.
How dedicated you are.
I feel bad because I feel like, well, you know, maybe I'm not as engaged and I'm preoccupied, but it's like, you know, it's like with the kids and there's only enough time in a week. It's like I'm working all the time. So it's like I have to kind of do something. It's like, you know, I feel bad. Like one day I was like doing something and it was kind of loud. And I'm like, guys, is this loud? And they're like, yeah, it's kind of loud. So like I try to like, you know, stuff comics or something like that. Something I could do on the side. But yeah, it's, you know, comes with the game, I guess, you know.
So these weapon packs, you've made them available. I like the stance that you've taken on this. What was it about? People reselling? Yeah,
I'm not cool with scalpers, man. So it's like I was worried that when I lifted the initial limit of one per person, that people would buy them and scalp them, because it's like that's just the age we live in with collecting. Like people can't just be honorable collectors; they have to just make a buck. People have to swap figures out of packages, and it's like, dude, just be a cool person. Like just be a stand-up person. So I'm serious. If I catch someone scalping, if I see someone selling it on eBay for higher than what they paid for it, or if someone tells me, hey, so and so is selling this in some group, I will immediately look for their name and see if they have a pre-order with me. If they do, it's canceled and they will be blocked from ever ordering from me again. I got a great relationship with all my wholesale vendors. I'll send their name to the wholesale vendor and I'll say, if they have an order, cancel it right now, please. And I'll even pay them for the order. I'll give them the order for free. It's like, I just want that person to get their order. So I'm not taking that crap, man. Scalping's not cool. It's like, let everyone get something, be cool about it. Like it's, it's silly to be a scalper. It really is.
I think that's awesome. And I guess that's the beauty of owning your own brand, like your own company. You go out there, you can make these rules. Like there's no red tape really. Like you would be the only red tape for yourself.
Exactly.
And as somebody who collects, it almost feels like you're looking out for your fellow collectors with your own brand. So I'm sure like that part of it really helped build your fan base.
Well, I just see what people are going through and I see the horror stories. It's like, especially this kind of pandemic year as it is. It's like, I remember over the summer trying to order Super Shredder and the bots getting things and, stuff selling out in minutes. And then what people are going through a Classify, trying to get Target exclusives and this and that. And it's like, then I see, people's pages on Facebook showing off their 20 Vipers. And it's like, maybe don't show that. Like, okay, that's great that you did the grind and you woke up every morning at 6 a.m. and had nothing better to do than to go to Target and hound the Target employees. But it's like, all right, well, you have 20 Vipers, but what about the guy who is a huge fan and he just wants one? You're going to like force him to then pay scalper prices because you have 20, but a scalper has 2, but because you have 20, that's offsetting the quantities that are out in the world, so that justifies that scalper for being able to sell it for $100. So the guys that I get it. I get troop building is a thing. I get it, and I it's a valid excuse. But just know, you troop building and hoarding all of those allows scalpers to do what they do. So
yeah, it's creating that market essentially.
Yeah. You're creating something that shouldn't have been there in the first place, or you're exploiting it. And it's just not, it's something I'm not cool with, because listen, collecting should be something that's fun and something you like to do, something that's enjoyable,
but it's frustrate you to have to find something you want.
Yeah, it's frustrating when people can't get the stuff they want to get, and it turns people off to collecting stuff, and it shouldn't be that way.
That's kind of how I was. I don't have like a deep association with Joe's, but if I had seen like the Baroness or some of those exclusives here on the shelves at Toys R Us, I probably would have picked it up. But then I was tired of people getting up. They're like, oh, they're at the store open, they're gonna buy them all off the shelves, and I see them on local classifieds for like 3-4 times. I'm like, all right, I'm out. I have other toys to buy.
I saw a Firefly, and sure, I could have sold that Firefly for $50 and made $30. But what did I do? I made some jokes on it, drew all over it, and gave it away free on the Infinity Equation. So at the end of the day, I lost $22 on it. But it's like, hey, someone got a Firefly now. Yes, I drew all over it, and if you want to bitch at me for ripping on it, great. But that person got a free Firefly
and a Valaverse autograph.
Yeah. I actually don't think I signed it. I don't think I signed it. I just made fun of it.
So it can't be traced back to you. Gotcha. It's very smart. You spoke earlier about people kit bashing troop building, or like making their own figures. What I thought was very cool was you have your main characters in your line, and I'm showing the BBTS site here. That's just where I know I could get all the pictures. But you have your main characters, but then you have your troop builders here.
Yep.
Like Riot Trooper. You have accessory packs, gun packs. Like there's 3. How many different troopers are there?
So there's 3 troopers. There's an all black guy. There's a gray camo guy, and there's a blue guy. So there's 3 basic troopers, and then a few gear packs, a few weapons packs. So enough to make all your own characters. Plus, all the parts on the figures are modular, like even the core, the mainline figures.
Right.
One thing I definitely want to do when people get their figures and it ships out, because toy photography is such a big thing nowadays, I can't wait to do some contests and give away some free stuff based on Action Force stuff. Like I want to do a contest where someone comes up with the best custom based on just using Action Force parts. Like I think that would be so cool because there's so much that I offer, that it'd be great to see what variety people come up with to make a cool character.
I think I have the Swarm Trooper and some others. So I've ordered them from my friend John here at Heroes World. I think that's the only place I know in Canada or around me anywhere that has it. So people who are watching, if you are Canadian and you're looking for some of this stuff, I know John has some on order, and I believe you said your orders are closing this weekend.
April 1st.
April 1st. So very soon, and John's trying to get a gauge of how to, if he needs to increase his order and by how much. So if you guys are interested.
John's been great. I love working with John. So
awesome.
Props to Canada.
Heroes World online on Instagram or heroesworld.ca. If you guys are Canadian, you can get your Action Force stuff through there. I've got the Swarm one. I think I'm going to get the Karak as well. These are awesome. And what I like about your generic troop builder here, I'm going to pull up the picture real quick. You have the alternate head, with the African American head, and you have all the extra hands. It's just like, it's very inclusive, right? To make that extra step to put that extra head in there. I think that's really cool.
To me, there's no reason not to. Like,
right.
It wasn't even something that, like when I was designing it, I thought like, I should probably do this, or this would be a good idea. I just did it. Like, it was just kind of one of those things where it always started off that way. It wasn't like one head was, a second thought. It was just, no, that's how I'm going to do it. So, yes, I'm going to rip on Hasbro a little bit. When they did their Cobra Trooper,
right.
Like, you could have done that. You could have done that. When you don't show flesh anywhere else on the figure, you can easily put alternate heads in with the figure. And the fact that Hasbro didn't do that, it's like, you guys dropped the ball, man. You could have done that very easily. But, they didn't. So, a lot of people are send me messages that they're happy that I did this. And I'm glad that, that they are digging what I'm doing. Because to me, it wasn't something that I thought was like, I don't want to say it was a no-brainer. It was just, no, this is the way I wanted to do the thing from the start. And it should always be that way. So, there's definitely going to be a lot of diversity in the Action Force line, because this is going to be a line that's going to be out for a very long time. So, we're going to get everyone in there.
And obviously props for that. And also, was it Wave 2 or Wave 3 that was the, like, all females?
Wave 3. So I'm calling them series. Like, I don't go by waves. Like, Series 1 and then Series 3 is the full female series, which I'm very excited about. I know a lot of people are looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be pretty popular as well. This is my Raider Foosh Plunderling.
Look at that guy.
So these are based, I think the shirt's based on like actual art, box art, concept art, but this is the figure itself. So if you guys don't have these, they're also on BBTS as well. And they're, and I believe Entertainment Earth, you can pre-order most of Wave 1 still on there. And I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of people playing with these and posing these. So we got a question from my friend Winger Lose. He said, Bobby, are we going to see double elbows on your female figures?
You bet your ass you are. I don't. When I was at Hasbro, a funny thing happened, and we talk about it in the Infinity Collection all the time. We were at Comic-Con in the Hasbro booth, and Shardamus was interviewing Dwight Stahl, who was my manager at the time, and he was asking Dwight about double joints on female figures because for some reason Dwight was very anti double elbows on female figures. And he pulls out an Icons Harley Quinn during a Marvel interview and shows it to Dwight. Dwight was so pissed, and I'm standing off to the side like, oh, damn, that's going to be bad.
Is that poor interview etiquette?
What was that?
Is that poor interview etiquette?
I mean, it's not good to do it, but at the same time, I loved it. I loved it that he did it. So, because, you know, Dwight was like put on the spot, like, shoot, what am I supposed to say? And he's like, yeah, it's a good figure. But it was like, that Icons figure was a little smaller than Legends, and it had double elbows, and it looked gorgeous. So I was glad that he was put on the spot. But it's like, to this day, it's like Legends is very sparsely putting double elbows on females. And it's like, no, you can do it, and you should be doing it. But I noticed Legends and Black Series are moving away from double elbows, and I don't understand why. They have
Black Series is going backwards.
Yeah, and it's like, you guys are starting to get into Super 7 realm here, where you're at least you're not overcharging for your figures. You're still charging $20, so you're not ripping people off like Super 7. But it's like, I saw a picture of, you know, the new Star Wars figures that they revealed today, like the tattooed Maul and the black tank top Luke. Yeah. And the Luke is the same Dagobah Luke, and I have to open mine to see, but they're single elbows. It's like they make the joint a lot, let me get my camera, a lot longer to be able to get a better range. But then when you bend the elbow, you get a giant gap right here. And you can see that in the picture of the Luke figure. His arm's at like 90 degrees, and he's got this big gap between his bicep and his forearm. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And it's like, they also don't have bicep swivel. So it's like, what are you doing, man? Like, you're losing all this articulation. Now, granted, I know that Star Wars has a lot more deco. They have, you know, soft goods, so their cost is a little higher, but you can't go backwards with stuff. Like, I worked on the 4-inch Marvel line. We went backwards. It killed the line. You can't remove articulation. You either have to raise the price. You can't just because people expect a certain thing. If you raise the price, people will bitch, but they'll eventually pay it. If you remove articulation, you can't make up for that. Like, so I'm a firm believer that you have to keep to the quality that you're at. You know, it's like, you know, you drive a really nice car. Your next car can't be a beater. You know, it's like, you buy a big house. You can't go to an apartment. Like, it's, you always have to keep your standards high. So I don't like that they're moving away, and Legends is doing it. And yes, sure, you can like make the exception, like, oh, well, Kang, you know, he's got the ruffles on his shirt and stuff. It's like, okay, fine, there are certain exceptions, but I feel like they're doing it a bit too much. Mm-hmm. So, you know, to not do double elbows on females now, it's like, you know, you're going to start to see it even less now. But all my female figures have double elbows.
I love it. I love that it's like whatever you hear the complaints of everything, and you're making sure that your line isn't a victim of some of that stuff.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, you know, it's like, yes, I'm making this line for me, but I'm making it for thousands of other people. You know, for sure. It's not just about me. You know, I think I'm with everyone else. And it's kind of like, that was what my gripe was about Super 7. And it's like, you know, Brian saying he wants to make a realistic figure. Okay, you want to make a realistic figure with less articulation? We'll charge less. Don't overcharge people. You're charging $50 because you don't want something to look engineered.
Right.
Come on.
So
man. Come on.
If people haven't heard this, it was the major
wrestling figure podcast.
Right. And Brian from Super 7 was on talking about the articulation and the sculpt of their figures. We'll hop back, hold that thought real quick. Johnny C. Dagger, thank you for the super chat. He says, I ordered Karak and Steel Brigade a month ago, and I just ordered Condor, 3 Stormtroopers, 3 Spec Op, and 3 riot gear and a weapons. Oh, dude.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you for being an awesome supporter of the line.
Amazing. So when you say I just ordered, do you mean like because of this stream right now? Because I would get points for enabling you with my friends. For, you know, it's 1 point for every dollar spent there, Johnny. So let me know how much you spent.
Everybody hold off your orders until after the show.
No, I gotta stay ahead of my friends.
Yeah.
Yes. So this interview with Brian Flynn from Super 7 on the major wrestling. I don't even know. I'm not into wrestling. You want to open a wrestling figure as we're talking about this?
Yeah, actually, I will.
Would that help?
I will do that. I'm a huge Ultimate Warrior fan, but I really want to see what this Andre the Giant is all about. So I'll do that one. Just because Super 7 did an Andre the Giant that I heard looks like garbage.
So I forget exactly what he said. He didn't like. He says he doesn't believe in the high thigh cut on figures.
So he said that he doesn't like all the, because they were asking him about, articulation. Because people, wrestling figures have a decent amount of articulation. And it's like, when you have a wrestling figure, you want to put it in moves or you want to pose it out. And the thing that he said that really bothered me was that he said that 90% of the people buying these items just put them static on their shelves. So for all you wrestling figure fans out there, Brian Flynn from Super 7 thinks you just stand your figures on the shelf. I don't know where he's getting his research from, but he said 90% of you do it.
Right.
I don't think he knows his consumer, because I could tell you right now, it is not 90%. And just because you think people stack something on a shelf doesn't mean you should water down your product. If you think people just stand something static on a shelf, why aren't you making statues? Why don't you just make a PVC statue? Why are you even putting articulation in? So my thing is, you make a wrestling figure, it should have articulation. But he was saying he doesn't like the look of an engineered product, aka seeing the cut for the articulation. So his excuse for not giving articulation is because he wants his figures to look more real. Okay, so I did a post on the Infinity.
He's going to bring the fact right now.
Showing, I did the layovers and I drew on some stuff showing, okay, Brian, if you want your figures to look real, why does Matt Cardona have a thigh gap that's like this wide? And why are the forearms sticking out past the biceps like this far on the figures? So your toned down engineered joints look more real? Well, I don't know what anatomy books you're looking at, bud, but those aren't real, and your figures don't look real, and your terrible paint on the faces. So it's like, I just don't like that he's charging such a high price. It's like, listen, I know what it costs to make these figures. You see what I can sell for $32, all the deco, all the accessories, the stand, the hands, the heads. You see what you can do for that price. Sure, he'll say something like, oh, licensing fees. Okay. Licensing fee is going to add $10 to your figure or $15 to your figure? They will not, especially for New Japan Wrestling. So he's trying to justify the watered down figure, because he doesn't like the look of something. All right, well then don't charge people a premium price and call your figure premium when you're not giving them premium quality. And that's what really bothered me. When you start to act like the consumer and the consumer should take what you're giving them at the price that you're giving them, I don't like that. I don't like picking on the consumer. I don't like saying, oh, well, we can exploit E-Man because, and do this basic body because, well, Matt and Mattel did it, and we're just going to continue doing it. We're going to do it with Thundercats, and we're going to do it with New Japan Wrestling. We're doing it with Matt Cardona and the Brian Myers figure. It's like, no, you don't have to stick to that He-Man model. You don't. You can do things differently. But they are, because that's what they're doing, and that's what they're going to continue doing it that way. So I just don't like that they're doing that to the consumer. And I wish that the consumer would fight back. But, I get it. Like, yes, people have He-Man, people have Thundercats, New Japan Wrestling, great.
Right.
But I don't like the way they're doing business. I used to have a lot of respect for Super 7, and after that interview, man, it tanked. And it's like, with the Thunder tank, like, I don't know what that's costing them, but I crunched my own numbers and had my own of what it was, and I don't think that thing should be $450. So, it's just like I was saying with my $32 figure. It's like if I did a vehicle, I have an idea what it would cost. So that's my rant on Super 7. I don't like them. I don't like them.
I'm not obviously in the industry, and I don't know the ins and outs and the costs and all that stuff. But I was trying to watch that interview with an open mind. The only thing I really collect from Super 7 is the Ultimates Ninja Turtles, because I loved the toys growing up, and I think those look amazing in terms of recreating a childhood toy, and still having more articulation, but also with a balance of nostalgia. Not the full articulation.
Yeah.
But what I'm buying, I know what I'm buying when I'm going into it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I know I'm buying it for the art style nostalgia factor. I'm not buying it for the most articulated Ninja Turtle on the market.
See,
but,
I almost got behind the Turtles, and then I started seeing pictures, and it's like, I know what you're saying. It's like for the nostalgia factor, and they touch on a lot of nostalgia beats. They really do. Yeah. But it goes back to what I was saying about, if you're going to charge $50 for a figure, well, all of your He-Man, Thundercats, wrestling figures have torso articulation. You didn't do it on the Turtles, and you didn't do it on Shredder, who is a human, who has a human torso.
Who is a human.
So what are you doing to offset that? Like, what are you giving? Oh, what are you saying? You're giving the tree, the weapons tree. You're giving extra weapons. Are you really? Is that really worth the articulation that you took out just to make your figures look more real, more authentic? I'm not down with it.
My only, personally for me, was when he said that thing about the ab crunch. He was like, who needs ab crunch? He's like, I believe he said, I've never walked into anyone's house, I'm paraphrasing obviously, and seen an action figure doing sit-ups. And I'm like, no, that doesn't make any sense. Like,
the scary part is, this is the guy running a major toy company. This is the guy saying ridiculous things like that is the guy that's running a major toy company. Like, I saw that, I'm like, how are people not cringing? I was looking at Matt and Brian's face, and I'm like, ooh.
I'd rather hear, like, if you say, like, I don't know, even if he said it was cost effectiveness or design limitation, something like that. But you can't tell me straight up, like, I don't think people need I've never seen toys do sit-ups on someone's display. Sure, if you pick the most, like, ridiculous example, yeah, no one's gonna. Well, I don't know. Maybe someone has like a gym setup in their display, but I mean, there's a whole world out there of people, like you said, toy photography.
Yep.
Right. Who pose all this stuff. They want that. Ab crunch is clutch. Is a huge part. So I don't know. The fact that he said, like, I've never seen people do that. I'm like, okay, I don't know. Maybe there could have been a better answer for that. I can't speak on price. I can't speak on cost or anything like that. Obviously not my business. It's just making that generalization for however much percentage of the market out there that needs that stuff.
Yeah.
Sacrifice Plastic with the super chat. Thank you very much. He says, how inflated are Super 7 prices compared to other companies like Hasbro? What is it for an Ultimates in America? $80 or $50, you said?
I think it's $50, either at 45 or 50. I mean, it's all the same, really.
Right.
But it's like, I think their He-Man stuff is 45. Someone, if you could let me know what exactly their stuff goes for. I thought it was $50. I thought figures were $50.
Oh my gosh, this is hilarious. Toy photographer is going to start doing photos of their figures doing sit-ups out of spite. Dude, if toy photography sit-ups hashtag. And you know what? Maybe you're doing it out of spite. Maybe Brian Flynn will see these photos and be like, okay, people want ab crunch. Hopefully you can change his mind, in a positive way, right? Showing through this movement. Like you said, maybe your voice is heard. That would be pretty cool. Maybe not ab sit-ups specifically. What do you think about McFarlane stuff? In contrast, a little bit more, but they're able to put, like, mass produce figures with so much detail and It's not like a company where they're reusing a whole bunch of base sculpts.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You just look at every company across the board, and being an educated consumer, you could just look at Super 7 and be like, something's fishy over here. $50? Come on. And sorry to harp on Super 7s more, but he talks about like, oh well, we don't do the numbers that WWE does.
Kyle, I still love the Ninja Turtles. Okay, I'll still finish these.
We don't do the numbers that WWE does. Yeah, I don't do the numbers G.I. Joe does either. But for a little more money, I'm giving a way better product. I don't need to charge $50 for a figure and take away half the articulation compared to a G.I. Joe. Like, that's the difference. So it's like, I don't care what his argument is. That argument ends with my answer right there. If he says, blah, 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 this is this, okay, well, me and G.I. Joe, tell me the difference. Tell me the difference, because I can bet you that our quantities, me and you, Brian, are probably around the same. So what you're charging and what I'm charging, big difference. Big difference. Shame what you're doing to the collectors. Shame. But McFarlane, it's like, listen, there are things that McFarlane does that I absolutely love. And there are things that they do that I'm like, why would you do that? And I don't like that they don't scale correctly, that they're big. I don't like that. I'm one of those people. It's like, I kind of want my stuff to kind of be in the same scale, but they're doing more modern stuff. A lot of stuff that now that I'm out of comics, I don't really know about.
Right.
I wish they would do some more classic stuff. But I love that Mayflex is doing the classic stuff. But it's like, yeah, look at everything they're doing. That big, articulated, heavily decoed figure for $20 or $25. So it's like, yes, granted, okay, Brian, more quantities, sure. Not the answer. That's not the answer. So I hope that answered the question.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to sit here and just talk Super 7 the whole time, because like I said, for me, I know what I'm getting into. It may not be for everyone, right? If you want to spend that much money on it, I absolutely think that, as a consumer, like you're saying, be smarter with your money as a consumer, but also at the same time, if you know what the prices you're going for in your budget, that's on you within your prerogative. Gross Fidelity, thank you for the super chat. He says, what's worse, the lack of ab crunch or the posed torso with a permanent lean like the Kickstarter Spawn?
Oh, man. Yeah, it's a tough one.
That's a tough one.
That's a tough one.
I don't think I can say what's worse.
Yeah.
I think maybe the lack of ab crunch might be worse, because with the posed torso, you're guaranteed like one stylized photo from one angle.
Yeah. At least there's some dynamics to it. So yeah.
Winger Lou says Kevin's trying to keep the door open for Brian Flynn on a future episode. Man, I'm just trying to have fun here with everybody. If he wants to come on and talk about, hell yeah, of course. Why wouldn't
I never want someone to. I never want to like put my opinions on someone and make them think the way I do. The best part about being a collector is you can think and collect the way you want to collect. I'm just telling people like what I see, but also whenever I make the negative comments, it's more about educating consumers, because I think coming from my side where I know what it costs to make something and I know the ins and outs of product development, I can give insight that maybe people haven't seen before, like the thing with the glue on Zartan's belt, like that.
Yeah. That's why I want to talk to people like you and in the industry too.
Yeah, so it's like if I can just help people be a little more educated consumer, if someone comes out of this and says, "Oh wow, you're totally right about the overpriced nature of Super 7," but it's like, no, I really want a Mutagen Man. I think it looks awesome. That's great, man. I'm not trying to tell you not to do it. I'm just telling you, like, just know what you're getting into. So this Andre, I'm really digging this Andre. His head's a little big, but I like him. I wish they did a more deluxe Andre, because like this was like they're more basic figures that don't have double elbows and don't have the ab crunch. But like It also has the basic waist. And what I want to do is I want to pose this Andre so that my warrior is body slamming him because he body slammed him better than Hogan did. But because his legs can't really spread out, it's harder to do that. So it's a little more weird. But I like this Andre. He came with a ring cart from WrestleMania 6. That's awesome. That is awesome. Nice figure.
You have weapons packs, gear packs. You have comics that go along with Action Force. How do Build-A-Figures and diorama pieces and vehicles are those on your radar?
Yeah. Coming from Legends, when we did Legends, the Build-A-Figure was always such a huge aspect, and that line. It's not. I don't want to say it survived on the Build-A-Figure, but the Build-A-Figure is such a main component on it. I liked when we did some figures that didn't have the Build-A-Figure component, like when we did the 80th anniversary or the MCU 10th anniversary. I like that we can do a cooler figure and try to add a little more to it and not have the cost of the Build-A-Figure aspect. Plus, it's like if you have a great wave of figures, but you have kind of a crappy Build-A-Figure, that's cost eating out of the figure because you have that Build-A-Figure part. So I like the Build-A-Figure aspect, but I think you gotta make sure you have the right line for it. It definitely works for comic book stuff. I think with my line, I don't really see it working, but I look at what they did the one year where they did the vulture wings. Instead of a figure, they did the wings. And I thought that was a very cool aspect to kind of break frame a little bit. So if I do something, it'll probably be in that vein. Like if I want to do like a big turret gun or something like that, maybe do that. But I also, like I said, I don't want to take away from the figure. So I'll probably just keep doing the figures as is and then offer something more deluxe as its own thing. Like I do like how they're offering the Build-A-Figures as standalone figures now, those $30, $40 figures. I think that's better. I think, because it allows you to get a figure you want if you want it and not have to be tied to getting a Build-A-Figure part from a wave.
Yeah, like the Stilt Man that I have here, I won't be building him. As ridiculous as he can get in terms of how high people are stacking him.
Yeah, I saw one guy, he stacked them he had vaulted ceilings in his house. He went I don't know, 15, 20 feet high. And I'm like, that's a lot of Stiltman parts that you bought.
This thing is so cool, man. I never had any morphers or anything growing up, so thank you, Hasbro, for this. You get a key, and then do you ever watch? Because a lot of toy lines come from, or vice versa, like having a TV show or a comic to sell merchandise, or the other way around, obviously. So do you ever watch a movie or a show and you're like, man, this would make a great toy, or like this is made specifically for merchandising?
Yeah, my son, he started watching this new show. I think it's called Power Players, and I think it's on Netflix. And it's almost like Toy Story, where it's all these action figures that kind of came to life, and they go on these adventures.
Oh man,
they're really cool designs. And I'm like, that's awesome. They should do figures for that.
This thing is cool. I'm gonna wear this for the rest of the episode.
Yeah, I was looking at the one my son got. He got this blue and yellow lion looking one. And yeah, you put the key in the front of it and it pops out all these parts, makes a bunch of lights and sounds. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to buy another one for my daughter. Sorry, baby. I told her she can have this one after school tomorrow. Yeah, so along with all this other stuff you've got going with Action Force, there's also a movie, or talks of a movie.
Yeah, where the movie's in early development right now. That's it still blows my mind when people are like, "Wow, a movie!" I'm like, "Isn't that crazy?" I'm amazed. I can't believe they're doing a movie. And I'm just trying to make toys and some comics, and here people come to me and they want to make a movie, and it's I'm blown away. But it's awesome and it's great, and I look forward to Thursdays. I have our weekly call with it's me, it's the executive producer, it's the director, and sometimes the scriptwriter.
Crazy.
Go over everything for all the acts and the character development, that sort of thing. And it's just awesome to kind of think of it in aspects of a movie. Because the wild thing is I'm coming up with the story on the fly with the comics like now. Also coming up with the story for the movie. And there's some things we have to simplify for the movie because you only have a 2-hour window to make a movie.
Right.
Whereas when they made G.I. Joe had 30 years of history that they obviously didn't pay attention to. But you had this history to pull from. I'm doing it.
Throw that in there.
I'm doing it in parallel. So that's the wild thing, because they're like suggesting, like the director suggested something. And I'm like, well, that's not the way I'm doing it in the comics, but that's okay. We can do it a little differently so that, you know, as long as it kind of ends up getting to the same point at the end. But yeah, man, like, and it's like, I talked to them like, guys, what's the reality of like this movie? Like, when are we going to start filming? They're like, you know, like early 2022. And I'm like, what? That's right around the corner. And I'm like, so when's the movie going to come out? They're like, I don't know. Probably look for like summer 2023. I'm like, what? Like, that's so crazy. So it's going so fast. And I like the people involved have such great ties to talent and studios and that sort of thing that I couldn't have asked for a better group of guys like helping out with this. Cause I just sit there like, hey man, you guys do your thing. You guys make a movie. I'll just say yes or no. Let me make the toys, but you know, just let me come along for the ride with the movie. So that's like, it's amazing to me. And I still can't believe it's being done, but shoot, man, it's pretty awesome.
I mean, I love your reaction is like, just as a fan, you know, if people are like, oh, I can't believe there's a movie. It's like, aren't you the creator? Like, you know, aren't you in charge of this? Like, yeah, but you know, I still got to have fun and enjoy this too.
Dude, I geek out all the time on our calls because it's like our director, it's like I've seen a bunch of his movies and I love his movies. So it's like,
that's so cool,
like,
man.
Crazy, man. You know, we're talking about like, oh, you know, because we all haven't like met each other and like how we should all like get together in like April or May to like just grab dinner and have like a guy's chill night, smoke some cigars and drink some bourbon and talk about the movie. And I'm like, that's going to be crazy.
You can have like poker games with
yeah,
these Hollywood guys. They're going to be on Infinity Equation, you know.
I do this all the time with people. Like when they send me their address, I can't help it. It's almost like stalking people, but like I'll look up their house on like Zillow just to see like where they live. So I had to send some. I sent the director, you know, like a swag package, like shirt, pins, and prints, and comics, and things like that. So he gave me his address. I immediately looked up his house, and I showed my wife. I'm like, look at his house. Look at his house. It's amazing. You know, I'm like, I want our house to be like this.
You sent me something before. You don't need to look up my house. It's not that. Speaking of sending stuff. I've got one more figure here that I haven't revealed to you yet. It was a special surprise. I hope. Oh, good. Alex is still here. Well, yeah, perfect.
Oh,
it is the Todd McFarlane, Steve Nash from the Dallas Mavericks.
Oh, man. Never ends. But at least if you got a Steve Nash, at least it's the Dallas Mavericks version. Because if I were to get a Steve Nash, that's the version I would get. I like them best when he played on Dallas.
I think I watched him a lot more on Phoenix, and his dynamic with Amare Stoudemire was just incredible. Yeah. I just kind of wish like when Dallas ended up winning, I'm like, oh, they should have won with Nash, you know? So it's a bummer that Nash didn't win one, but look at him. That's the one. You know, being Canadian, also, I always.
Yep.
We had this conversation. For people who don't know the joke here, we were doing a best of 2020 like top 10 list, and Mafex Michael Jordan was obviously on that list, and we were talking about other players we would want to see in Mafex form. I don't remember who said Steve Nash first. But the other people in the chat and on Infinity Equation were like, oh my gosh, no one wants a Steve Nash action figure. We would get a Phil Jackson Mafex before we get Steve. Like, and then the joke just kept getting worse and worse from there to a point where I said to Bobby, I'm like, dude, just go talk to Steve Nash's people, get in contact with him, get a license, and do a Steve Nash head sculpt in Action Force. Put him on there. Because we both like his play style. You both think he's great. I don't know if he's deserving of a Mafex figure yet. But Just having him out there. I saw this in the shop last week.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. The funny thing is that still to this day, I think every episode Steve Nash comes up. Every episode. So it's kind of funny how these jokes turn into stuff like Rinky Dink. It's just it's cool, and that's the great part about that show is that this stuff happens, and we just run with it. So Steve Nash still the greatest.
And we were talking about how like he wasn't a flashy player because you don't think of him as like a high flyer or a dunker, but dude had highlights, man.
Highlights. Yep.
He dropped passes like he would just see where the ball would bounce, where the player would end up, and just meet everything. Like Amari Stoudemire received a lot of baskets based on that kind of stuff. Behind the back passes, over the head. I tried to model his style of play when I was younger, and luckily the weather's getting warmer now. I can go outside to my hoop and
there you go,
shoot around again, get some cardio back in. That's more fun. But hopefully, you did a live stream with some stuff you got in a few weeks ago. Some test shots, a secret head sculpt that wasn't revealed. I'm gonna put money that it's Steve Nash. If it's not Steve Nash, make sure you let me know so I'm not actually putting money on it.
It is not Steve Nash. It is not. Let me tell you something. If I got Steve Nash to be a character in Action Force, there's no way I could keep that a secret. I would have to just to end the joking. Just be like, no, man, Steve Nash, part of Action Force, like MVP, baby.
Hell yeah, do it. You have Hollywood clout. You got to do that. Get him on there.
You know what it is? It's like, I am talking to other celebrities all the time about being characters in Action Force. And after Sarge, I didn't think I would do any other celebrities, but they kind of like fell into my lap. So it's like, I think it's kind of be like a thing now that there's always going to be a celebrity in a series of Action Force.
Really? That's awesome. Steve Nash was allergic to the NBA Finals. He absolutely was. But I loved him because he was a competitor. You knock him down, Alex. He got right up. He got right up and he kept playing. None of this flopping stuff.
Exactly.
Crying. He was just a true competitor all the way.
Alex has no respect.
Let's see. Silver Surfer. I'm going to open this up. Thank you to my friend Justin. He had this on pre-order, and then he moved out of town. So he's like, "Hey, do you want my pre-order for this and Peter B?" I said, "Yeah, I'm down." So thank you, Justin, for moving. How's the Han Solo? How's Star Wars for you in terms of fan base, or like for you in fandom and collecting?
I'm such a sucker for original trilogy stuff. I mean, I hate the prequels, I hate the sequels, and so to me, it's like listen, anything original trilogy, I'm such a sucker for, and I hate buying Hasbro stuff. I hate supporting them, but every time there's an original trilogy figure, I don't even think twice. Like I was at Target, I saw this, I didn't even I didn't look to inspect like the face. I just grabbed it, threw it right in the cart, done. Like, knew I was getting it. Didn't matter. It's a cool figure, man. The likeness is fantastic. The jacket's cool. Ryan did tell me that the fabric's a little weird. The fabric is a little weird, but I love the camo pattern on it. It's nice. It falls nice. The one thing that gets me is on his belt and his holster, the strap on his leg is molded to the leg. Like that's part of the sculpt. And I don't if you're going to do a belt as a separate part, why would that strap not be a separate part? They do it on 3 3/4. Why would you not do it on 6-inch? So you have just this sculpted detail on his leg. So say you took the belt off if you wanted, that detail would still be there. Those are the kind of things that I always keep in mind when I'm designing, because it's like, yes, Han Solo's probably never not had his belt on, but if you want to take his belt off, those are the kind of things you don't want to happen.
If you made it molded into the holster, would there be any kind of limiting the range in how high his leg would go, up or down?
No, because if you were to move it like, because the holster is glued to his leg anyway, when you move it,
Okay, right.
it's moving with the leg. So this would just ride up with it. It would actually be better if this wasn't glued and this was a part of the belt, so that the whole holster can ride up his leg as you move his leg, like a real holster works. But they didn't do it that way, so it's, kind of interesting. But still Han Solo, he's still awesome. I'm happy with it. For a $20 figure, I'll take it all day, baby.
Just trying to get this Mjolnir hand. Oh, wait. Speaking of Mjolnir, may I show it?
Sure.
Let's see. Here we go. Along with your resume, what was your exact title at Hasbro?
Senior designer.
Along with that, we also have model and product demonstrator. I don't know if I can play the audio, but and I remember you were telling the story about the day you were doing the shoot for this little demo video
So
on Infinity Equation.
yeah, me and Ryan Ting, we spent the day at a studio in Connecticut, doing lots of takes because I'm always cursing. Lots of takes to make these videos. So fun day, very fun day.
I think that line of almost role play or premium accessories is pretty unique.
Yeah, that was a fun line. Like when they came to me, and at the time we wanted to expand Legends, and this was when we started calling like 3 3/4 Legends, and people were mad about it.
Right.
But we wanted Legends to be an expression of all things collector, not just 6-inch. So, doing it to the 4-inch line, okay, but then we said, hey, let's do a 12-inch line. Let's do the role play stuff. We want you to handle it. And I loved it because it gave me the opportunity to start a line from scratch. So the role play stuff was so cool, because Disney was great about getting me the specs for Captain America's shield. So Jesse Falcon was on set. He measured the Captain America shield, got me the exact measurements. So the Captain America shield that we did is the exact size of the one in the movie.
Oh, nice.
Same thing with like Mjolnir. And then it was awesome because it was something that we hadn't done before on Marvel. So figuring out how the Iron Man face mask was going to come off and attach to the helmet, because it wouldn't we couldn't use the mechanics and have a motor in it. So we did it with the magnets, and that was really cool. And it was just fun, man. It was a great line. And the fact that like I got to do both Infinity Gauntlets, and
Sweet.
it was great. It was a great line, really, really great line. It's cool to see that they're still doing it. It was a bummer I didn't get to work on any more of it, but it was fun to do. I did the Panther one, the Ant-Man one, the 2 gauntlets, the Iron Man, Cap shield, Thor's hammer. Then it's like, I did the Comic-Con Red Skull, and I got to add the Tesseract to it. So it was like I got to do a 6-inch figure and kind of have something for the role play line in that figure as well. So it was like the Tesseract is kind of like that quasi item that you don't think of that's part of that line.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that. I do want to. I hope there's more Cap shields available, or they re-release some. It looks like a nice display piece.
It's a cool. Yeah, I can't wait to get my office set up and I can put them up. I do have. I don't care if I get in trouble for this because I don't care. But when we did the metal shield, so there was an Amazon exclusive all metal shield,
Right.
and when they sent us the first samples, like from China, they sent it with no deco on it. So it was all silver. And it looked
Cool.
like in First Avenger when he holds up the shield and it had nothing on it. So I have my sample of that. So I have a sample there. They sent 2. And I know the other person who has one and I have mine. But like I love, because shield, no deco on it, and it's just silver, and it's a really cool piece.
Hell yeah! It's unique, and like the look for it is pretty simple too. Okay, this guy's pretty awesome.
How's that surfer?
I mean, you can't get mad at
deco.
The paint actually comes off really nicely.
Mm.
And I wish they would do the butterfly joints more consistently on more bodies. Because it just helps sell so many more poses for photography and displays and people doing other back-related exercises. He's a buff dude. How's the Motaro? My friend Kyle opened one last week.
I love what Storm's doing. They are a little big for regular people, but I will. You know what I mean? If for like a Ryu figure, like comparing Ryu to Legends Captain America, he's too big. But I mean, the first one I got was Goro because I loved Goro, and I was like, man, that figure looks awesome. And it was like one of the first figures I spent $100 on, but it was well worth it because he came and I was like, dude, I wasn't even mad about it. And he just looked great. And he has so many different, accessories and hands and heads. I'm like, this figure is great. And then I missed out on the Injustice Doomsday. Now I'm a huge 90s comic book fan, and Doomsday is like probably my all-time favorite villain. And the reason I missed out on it was because they didn't do him like classic Doomsday. It did the Injustice version. But then Ryan was like, dude, Doomsday is phenomenal. And I'm like, really? So I had to overpay for it, but I got it. And it was my favorite figure from that Figures of 2020 we went through. And then when Motaro went up for pre-order, I said, I'm not missing out on him. I have to get him. So now I'm like, trying to get all the classic Street Fighter 2 characters, but the problem is that a lot of them are hard to get. Like the Red M Bison was an exclusive, and he's $400. Zangief, he's $400. And also they don't come out very consistently. I missed out on E Honda, but Vega is my favorite, so I'm hoping when they do Vega, I'll pick that one up. But on our last show, someone was talking about how they don't do thin characters really well. All their characters are huge and buff. So because Vega was a little more, lean, I wonder if they'll make him lean or if they'll make him big and bulky. So, we'll have to wait and see with that. For now, I have my Figure Arts Vega, which is awesome, but I want something in scale with these guys. But Motaro is amazing. Like, this thing is amazing. So good. It's like, dude, how can you not go wrong?
The joints look like they're super nice and strong because my friend had him standing on the two hind legs with Batman riding on his back last week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, their joints are very robust. Very, very robust. So definitely worth the money. I'm very happy. Thank you, Storm Collectibles.
Who is probably not watching. Bendy wire tail. Is it bendy wire?
It is. Yeah. Love it.
Nice. Vega is from Spain, like my ancestors. It's a very epic statement. I don't know why. Whenever someone invokes their ancestors, you're a huge Batman fan.
Yeah.
Do you have hopes? Oh no, sorry. Have you watched the Snyder Cut yet?
Oh my God, I watched it today.
Did you?
Yep.
I'm only halfway through, and obviously I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
But I feel like from your reaction, you enjoyed it because you're like, oh my God.
I'm going to say this, and I know it's going to make people really upset because of Endgame and Infinity War. It, to me, is the greatest comic book movie ever made. I know it's 4 hours. It's not. It's in the more grand scale of things. It was everything I could have wanted out of a comic book movie.
Really?
And again, I won't get too much into it, but I watched. Now, this was painful. I watched the Whedon Justice League the other night just to get ready because I said I want to remember. I remember it being bad, but it was like Green Lantern. I knew it was bad, but it wasn't as bad as everyone was saying. But then I watched it the other night and I was like, this movie's awful. And the fact that I was able to watch the Whedon Justice League and be so disgusted by it and then watch this movie today and think it was the greatest thing I'd ever seen, I'm like, how did that happen? Like, how did one movie get made twice with two totally different outcomes? And literally, like, there were things about the movie that, like, I hated the Flash. I hated Ezra Miller as the Flash in the Whedon version. He was awesome in this version. All that quirky, Whedon crappy comedy was nowhere, and it was perfect. Like, everything that was done wasn't forced. Like, you watch the Whedon one, it's like everything's forced, and I'm just like, you can tell like where Whedon added a line of comedy when they didn't in the Snyder version. And I'm like, yeah, that line of comedy was not needed for that scene. Steppenwolf was a real villain this time. He was so awesome. Like, everything about that movie. Like, I cannot wait to watch it again. It was 4 hours, and
really,
I told my wife, like, I was like, listen, when I get home in the morning, I got some things to do. I got home at like 10:30. I said, I'm sitting down in the living room and I'm watching this movie and I don't want to be disturbed. And the funny thing is, like, my daughter, she's, 1.5. She sat and watched Justice League with me for a few minutes. And my wife's like, I don't think she should be watching this. I'm like, yeah, but look, she's enjoying it. But listen, it was great. And I think, and I'm not even afraid to say this, like, I almost got emotional at how awesome it was. Like, because that's the movie that should have been made. And I love the fact that we live in a time where the power of the people got this movie made. Like, when else would we ever, like, when has this ever happened where people voice their opinion enough and a studio spent $70 million to remake a movie that had already come out and didn't perform well? Like, that's
is that what it cost?
They said that Zack Snyder was given an extra $70 million to finish his version.
Damn.
So he filmed all the movie. I think he filmed some extra shots for this one, but the $70 million was probably more for like visual effects because all that CGI. Literally, everything was changed. All the CGI from Whedon's version was changed for the Snyder version. Like, everything was changed. It was so nice to see Superman without a CGI mouth. Like, it was just refreshing. It was refreshing to watch this movie and say, this is the movie I wanted and this is the movie I got. Like, it lived up to all of my expectations. And I think it's almost bittersweet in a way because I'm like, the movie's crushing it. Like, the positive reaction to it is phenomenal in less than 20
that's what I've heard.
But it's like, okay, well, you made a crappy Aquaman and you made a really crappy Wonder Woman 2, which don't piggyback off of this. Now you have this, which is what the DCEU should be. And now it's like, how can you disregard this? Like, Snyder's come out and said, listen, this is going to be a one-off. DC has no plans on doing anything more with this. But how can you not? Like, to me, it's like, people don't want what you're doing now. They don't want this. They want that. Like, they want the Snyder universe. So I hope that this changes that movement in a way, because
like, jump
like,
off.
What was that?
For the jump off for more people to be open to it. Yeah.
Like what they said with Snyder, like the execs were like, oh, you're making too dark of a movie. Let me tell you something. If you can't handle a dark movie, you shouldn't be watching comic book movies. Yeah. Yeah. But look at Infinity War and Endgame. They were dark movies. Like, don't tell me like the dark light crap. Like, that's a terrible argument. Like Ab Crunch and realistic figures. But they have to continue this. Like, the story that he set up is amazing with Darkseid and everything. Like, it's amazing, and I want to see all of it. I want to see it, and I'm almost spoiled now because it's like, holy crap! Like, I got this movie, but now I'm like, well, now I want more. You gave it to me and you teased me. Now I want more. I also love long movies. I love extended cut Lord of the Rings. Right. So to me, a 4-hour movie, I loved it. I love an all-day movie event. Like, I sat on my couch and watched this movie, and it was amazing. So that's my take on the Snyder Cut.
Well, maybe somebody will throw money at Snyder to redo the sequels of Star Wars. Just recut all three of those movies into one long epic. I would be down for that.
That would be awesome.
I know Ryan. I think Ryan is on the same page where he thinks they should just retcon the sequels and make it non-canon or something.
100%. Get rid of Kathleen Kennedy. Make those movies not canon. Just continue where you're going. Am
I going to watch the rest of it tonight? I think I might do that later tonight and stay up. But
I can't believe you stopped watching it. Like when people are telling me like they're watching it in multiple parts, I'm like, how are you doing that? How could you stop watching this movie?
Yeah, work, and it was after work and then kids, and I had some stuff to do. I had to go get Steve. Well, my lady actually went to go get Steve Nash because I called the store to see if it was still in stock. Should I open it?
You should open it.
But tomorrow, the Falcon and Winter Soldier is back.
Oh,
how do you feel about that? Well, not is back, is starting.
I'm not behind any of the Disney Plus series. Like, to me, and I think I said it on the Infinity Equation, I'm not going to watch a show about B and C characters. Like,
right.
To me, it's like Scarlet Witch, Vision, Falcon, and Winter Soldier were probably like my least favorite characters in all of like MCU. And you're making series about them? Like, oh, stop. Like, no. Like, it's not for me. I'm not a comic book show guy. I don't like WB shows. I don't like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or, Supergirl, anything like that. Like, to me, the shows are just campy and cheesy, and I just, I had no desire to watch like Scarlet Witch or Falcon and Winter Soldier. So yeah, but hey, it's great. It's great that they are making this universe where they can take these characters and make more content for them. It's just content I don't need, but it's okay.
Right. Well, that's no better spot than to plug that tomorrow. My friend Troy and I will be doing a live stream with a recap and a reaction of the first episode of The Falcon and Winter Soldier. That's tomorrow night at 9 p.m. And safe to say Bobby won't be watching that, but that's cool. This is the perfect time to bring that up.
I'll be watching Justice League again.
Oh, true. Where was that message? Somebody said he stopped watching Justice League to tune into this. So much respect to you. That's a lot of willpower. I stopped watching. There you go. Chris Johnston. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. definitely took a weird turn after a couple seasons. I like that it tied into the movie to begin with, but it kind of took a weird turn. I've been watching Superman and Lois, and I had really, really low expectations. Like, I didn't really buy that guy as Superman, and I was just like, this looks lame. And I put it off for a while, and then I have to say the first episode, it was pretty good. It's not like the Flash and Arrow kind of cheesy, even though they're all on the CW, but it's like Superman. He has kids, and it's just, I don't know. I feel like the demographic is the comic book collector, the adult parent who has kids.
Interesting.
I'm just saying, if you give it a shot. I'm not going to set the bar too high or too low. Anyone who's out there and has seen it, let me know. But I think it's a good show. It's something to. But if you're not like a comic book TV guy, then that's not for you.
Yeah, comic book TV is hard for me. And it's like I wanted to love Supergirl because I think the girl, like I love the girl who played Supergirl, and I just think like she just looked great as her, and I was like, I think this show's going to be good, and I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to love her. And I watched it, and I was like, oh, this is painful to watch.
Yeah, I tried to give Supergirl a shot. The first few seasons of Arrow and Green Lantern Green Arrow were, I'm losing my mind. Green Arrow and The Flash were okay, and then it fell into that CW hole of just being cheesy.
My friend keeps telling me to watch The Flash. He's like, dude, Flash is great. I'm like, really? Like, for real? Like, it's good.
Yeah, maybe not a Steve Nash head sculpt because he didn't have the best hairstyles throughout his career.
He just had that shaggy, long, sweaty hair, you know.
Yeah, it
And
wasn't
then
great
like,
for.
at the end of his
sports.
career, then he like cut his hair, and people are like, "Ooh, why'd you do that, man?
You can't win.
Can't win, can't win." Listen, I'll take that long, shaggy, gross hair all day, baby, all day. I mean, it would have been really funny if he like did dreadlocks or something. Like if he got really wild with it.
So what are you opening now?
I'm boxing up Mataro just to get him out of the way.
Nice.
I'm gonna do. Let's see. So I did a NECA, I did a Storm, I did some. I'll do a Mezco.
Well, can we before the night ends? Can you take a look at that third-party Joker too?
Oh yeah. I'll open those right now. Let's see, because I had opened the Arthur Wayne before, but I'll open the Clown and see how he looks.
Oh, that just reminded me. There's the Joker is in the Snyder Cut, right?
Yeah, yeah, and it's amazing.
All right, we'll see.
But again, it's like it happened, and I'm like, I need a whole movie of that. Like, I need more of that. I know
How
people.
did so much get left on the cutting room?
I don't know. I hope what they do is this movement makes them make the air cut of Suicide Squad, because there was a lot of Joker in that movie that was left on the cutting room floor, and that movie wasn't, anything of how David wanted that movie to be. So I hope this makes that happen. We'll see. But I also, it's like, I know a lot of people didn't like Leto as Joker. I thought he was great. Being
In
a Ledger fan,
in the original or in this?
I thought he was great in Suicide Squad because I saw him for what he was, and he's a great actor. People are like, "Oh, he's got gold teeth and tattoos on his head." Yeah, okay, well that but you got to can't look at it as like the same Joker every time. You got to let people do their take on it. It's like this Joker is totally different than anything we saw before. So, but this was great. I don't think Joker has to be a singular character. I think he could be totally different for whatever actor is playing him, and I'm glad that Leto made him different. And what he is in Justice League is fantastic, and it's just expanding on that character. So, like I said, I want more of it. I want more.
That's pretty high praise. What's the name? The company that makes that third party that you have?
The Arthur Wayne was made by, let's see, who made this one? It says the Patriot Studio. The Patriot Studio. That's who made the Arthur Wayne. Felix Toys made the Clown. Packaging is a little different from them. But what was the one?
Where did you buy these from? VC Toys or VCS?
Empire Toy Shop.
Empire Toy Shop.
I want to say that one of the outer sleeves said like Miles Morales on it or something. Like it was. Here it is. So on. So on the Arthur Wayne figure, so it says Arthur Wayne, but then if you look at the bottom, it says, let me get it. So it says 1/12 Miles Morales, real masterpiece.
Interesting.
So I'm like, well, guess they weren't watching that one. So, but this figure's cool, man. I mean, look, the detail is great on him.
Oh wow.
Like he's great. Like the soft goods is really, really nice. He comes with multiple alternate heads. So you got the all bloodied smiling head like at the end.
Wow.
And he comes with the hands to go like this to make him smiling. He comes with the alternate hands. Yeah. So he's got a regular Arthur head. He's got a head with I don't know if you could see blood splatter on like right under his eye from after he shot Robert De Niro.
Is that like 3 heads?
He's four in total.
4. Wow.
4 in total, yeah. And then so like his accessories, like he's got an Oscar, the Oscar award, but he's got all the hands. He's got the Joker mask that he wears. He's got his gun. He's got his notebook.
Oh, wow.
He's got cigarettes. This one is way better than the Arthur Wayne one. Like this one's made better. They add better stuff. Like his shoes have really great detail on them. The soles of his shoes have really great detail.
What did that set you back?
What was he?
Like $50?
I think he was $80. Yeah, I think he was 80. I think. But it's like it was kind of one of those things where I knew it was a knockoff, but it looked good, and I was going to take the chance on it. But I said to myself, if it was the same quality as the Arthur Wayne, I would be okay with it. And it's better than the Arthur Wayne. So,
all right. So for those that don't know,
look at that guy in all his glory.
Classic Nash move: get into the paint, get into the air, and then wrap around pass behind your defender to your teammate, who he saw like 10 seconds before, knows he's cutting in, knows he's there. Dump it behind the back. He's still looking this way. Get the assist. All right? Iconic. I love that part of his game.
So good. He was so good. You know what? I'm going to start looking for, because I'm looking for office space right now because I'll need an office to set up for when the product gets here to do fulfillment. So I know how I want my office to be set up. I think I'm going to get a Steve Nash jersey. I'm going to get a Steve Nash jersey. I'm going to get it framed. I won't put it up in the office.
Mavs?
Oh, yeah, Mavs. Absolutely.
It's too bad he was plagued by back problems.
I know.
He never ended up playing for Team Canada.
I know.
Toy Chase, thanks for coming out, and thank you for the super chat. He says, I have to go. Bobby V, you rock. Thanks, Kevin. No, thank you. Shout out to the rest of the Tuesday crew in here representing. Have a great night, everybody. Hey, man, thanks for stopping by. You have yourself a great night as well. Go watch the Snyder Cut.
Yes. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna set this Joker up. I wonder about because they said Snyder's never watched the Whedon cut, which is great that he's never done that, and I don't think.
Really?
But it's like, if you're Joss Whedon, how does that make you feel? Like, dude, they thought your movie was so bad that they gave this guy more money to make the movie they should have made in the first place that you screwed up.
Isn't Joss Whedon kind of on the verge of being canceled, I guess, lately based on his behavior or whatnot back in the Buffy days?
And but the Buffy days, but also the actors are coming out against him on Justice League. Like, they said he was awful to people on Justice League, and I'm like, great, get that. I've never liked Joss Whedon. I don't like him. I think he's kind of a hack. I don't like his style, his writing style, or anything like that. So I'm glad. Cancel Joss Whedon. Get him out of here. Give me more Zack Snyder.
So, what if you didn't get this movie thing going yet, and someone came up to you and said, "Hey, man, Joss Whedon really wants to do a Action Force movie," you'd be like, "No,
nope."
Is that safe to say?
I'd rather a movie not be made. Just like, I tell, we were talking about talent, who's going to play certain roles and this and that. And I told the director and my partner, the producer, I said, I don't care how popular she is or anything like that. Ronda Rousey cannot be in this movie. I said, I will veto that in a second. So things like that. No Joss Whedon, no Ronda Rousey. Yeah.
That's good, man. You don't want to compromise for your.
You gotta have your principles. Yeah. I live on integrity, and it's like.
I pointed this out to you before. Oh, that's cool, and you can use those hands for a lot of different poses too. I spoke to you about this before, and I think other people should know watching to show how serious you are about toys and your products. During one of your live demos of your some of your products, I saw you have a tattoo, and you don't have to show any skin right now, but you have tattoos of elbow joints on your elbows.
I do.
So,
Yeah, I'll show them.
because I know people who are like musicians, they'll have like, you know, their instruments tattooed, you know, all whatever different aspects that they're passionate about in their job. But like when I saw that, I'm like, oh my god, this guy's so serious.
Yeah, I never gotten tattoos before, and I was doing an internship at Hasbro, and I was like, oh, it'd be cool to get a tattoo. And I was like thinking what I would get, and I'd never seen anyone do it before, but I was like, oh, I should get like double elbows. Like there's a guy in the toy industry, I forget who he works for. He's got like a single pin, but he doesn't have like all the depth of the cutout. I wanted it to look like a real joint. So, you know,
That's so
like,
crazy.
on this arm, like I got trademark,
No,
the trademark and the copyright on that one. So
that's
it's like
funny.
you know, like I'm marked and stuff. So, yeah, they're fun. You know, they're fun to have. I forget I have them sometimes, and then people like bring it up, like, "Oh, dude, you have like articulation tattoos." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I do. I forgot." But yeah, no, I like them. They're fitting, and cool with it.
What's the code sometimes they have on the back of the thigh? That's like
Yeah.
super noticeable. You get one of those too.
Get one of those. Get a peg on the bottom, a peg hole on the bottom of my foot.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Yeah, and like that's what I said. This guy said, Philippe Terrazas. He says LL Cool J has a mic on his arm. 11 people have a passion for their craft like that.
That's cool.
And yeah, that's what it is. So if it really helps paint the picture, like you're passionate about toys, and you're going to put everything behind your brand that you're putting out there.
Yeah, I mean, tattoos are one of those things where it's like you can easily have a bad tattoo, but yeah, I love when people just express themselves with really good art on their body.
Yeah, Monkey 29 DNA says, "Do you have toe pivot?"
No, people always ask me if I have my knees done, and I said no. I said if I were to ever get any additional articulation, I would probably do my wrists. Just like I like tattoos you can see, that
Right.
aren't always hidden. I feel like if I did my knees, you never really see them anyway. I wear long shorts sometimes because I have skinny legs. So, yeah, I want something I can kind of show off a little bit.
Yeah, but the first thing I thought of when I saw that I was like, oh my god, they have pinless elbows now.
I'm obsolete now. My articulation is obsolete. I love it.
Oh, that is great articulation. So what do you see? What do you see coming down the line for Action Force? I know it's still pretty early, but obviously you've made some huge jumps with you're launching simultaneous products, comics, toys, and then you got the movie. What's something that you hope to see move towards?
If I don't know. I have a lot. Like when I think about it, I'm so in the moment, working on everything that sometimes I don't stop and smell the roses or enjoy moments sometimes because I'm just so busy. But when the test shot samples got here, I got very emotional about it because seeing something you work so hard on kind of come to life was awesome. And I think it's going to be a big relief when the figures get here and I can start sending them out to people. And I also want to I can't wait to see people take photography of them, just because they're going to be real and in people's hands, and they're going to be doing what they're meant to be doing. Getting to the next series, getting to the females is very important for me. I love doing the comics. I'd like a publisher to pick up the comics just so that they could put more into them, than the time that I have to do it. So I'd love to see the comics expand more. I really, really love to get into retail. I know that that's kind of a nightmare, especially because of exclusives and getting product and having things hard to get. But I think if the movie gets made, I think the first product that will be in mass retail will be the movie figures for the line.
Cool.
So that I would love an animated series. I know that, with the movie being live action, that's what's on the radar now. But I would love an Action Force animated series, but like a dark one, like G.I. Joe Resolute, something that's gritty and like meant to be what the story is. So, there's that. I just think, like, I don't know, like, I just want people to like what the product is. And I also, like, I don't know, to me, it's like, to come from being, a designer kind of in the shadows at Hasbro, and then coming out, or, being let go the way I was and being upset about it, and then starting my own thing, and then seeing other people start their own thing. And, you're not sure if it's going to be successful or not. Some people are, some people aren't. But the fact that this has been so successful in such a short period of time, I'm like so happy about that. So to see it, and to, for Valaverse to become something bigger, and to be like when you talk about NECA and Super 7 as, like, major toy companies, like, yes, there's Hasbro, there's Mattel, but, these other companies are like just under those A-listers. I would love to be talked about as like one of those companies. And I know it's like, it's just me right now, so everyone knows me, but I would love for the company to be more than just me, and to expand, and to be something bigger than what it is. I just, at the end of the day, I want it to be something cool. I want to be able to put a stamp on the history of toys and collecting, and be part of that. I want to make cool products. I want, I never get tired of hearing what people, love about the line and stuff like that. And it's like, people love the comics and the weapons packs, and it's like, that's all they've had to talk about because that's all there's been. But now, once the product is out, then it's like, you'll get to hear what people really think about it. And it's like, I'm nervous about that, but I'm very excited about it.
That's awesome, man. I wanted to touch base with you on this real quick. I know you didn't watch the interview with Mez.
I'm going to watch it as soon as we're done.
He mentioned that or with DC, he wasn't able to put out weapons with triggers for a toy under a certain price point.
Yeah, makes sense.
And I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Obviously, you have full control of what you're doing, and that kind of stuff doesn't really apply to you.
I mean, I grew up in a time where we were playing with realistic guns when I was a kid.
Yeah.
There was an aisle in Toys R Us. Like, I don't know if you remember if it was the same in Canada, but when you went down the aisles in Toys R Us, it wasn't like how it was where modern day, where it was like a maze. You walked into Toys R Us and it was just lanes. And you go past the bikes into the action figure aisle, but there was like 2 action figure aisles, and then next to the action figures there was role play stuff. They used to have a wooden rack that had metal rifles that, you just cocked and it shot like a real sound. Those are real looking rifles, and I had one of those, and it was like, that's the time I lived in. So to me, I don't think it's a bad thing. Like my son, I never showed him guns or anything like that, but almost like instinctively, he was able to pick up a stick and call it a shooter or something like that. And then there's so many Nerf guns out there. So it's like, it's always going to be out there, like blasters or whatever you want to call them. It's always going to be out there. You can never stop it. So whether you give someone a space blaster or give someone a realistic weapon, it's still what it is, a weapon. So that it's, there's nothing wrong with that. So when I was on Legends, when Disney took over, we got hit with the, hey, you can't put realistic weapons with figures anymore. And it's like, well, why? Deadpool has guns. Punisher has guns. And, for some, it was like, all right, we'll glue them in and this and that. And I remember when I was working on the World War II cap on the motorcycle, excuse me, that was like one of my favorite things to work on. And one of my last things to work on. And I designed, I'm a big World War II buff. I designed it because we had a Thompson rifle in the tooling library. I said, all right, well, we're going to make a sheath that goes on the front of the bike that the Thompson fits in. He can come with the Thompson. He also comes with a 1911 pistol, his holster. They ended up telling us, hey, you can't give him realistic weapons. And I'm like, well, that's the point of the figure. Like, he was in World War II. Like, he should have these weapons. Can't have a weapon. So I was really bummed. And I was like, well, leave the holsters. Let people just put their own weapons in there. After I left Hasbro, figure comes out and he's got the weapons. And I'm like, well, where did that change? But now it's like, now they're going back to like no weapons. And now I saw DC's doing the no weapons. And I'm like, I get it if you want to do kids stuff, but for the Mezco stuff, there's no reason to cause an adult collectible to not have realistic weapons. That's just
like
silly.
$90-ish action figure.
Yeah, that's just silly. So I don't like it, especially because my line is based on realistic weapons.
Is that why like Classified uses Nerf Guns?
Yep.
Sculpted Nerf guns repainted, which I think is hilarious, by the way, because it's like it's their stuff.
It's just lazy, but I mean, with that, it's like I'm not surprised. Look, they took Real American Hero and the red, white, and blue off of GI Joe. Like that's what like GI Joe was. That like GI Joe was always Real American Hero, red, white, and blue. Now it's like now it's not anymore, and it's like collectors notice that. And I think the Space Blasters sci-fi stuff really turned people off. And I think it's great seeing everyone tagging me and stuff on Instagram with like my weapons packs with Classified figures because they look so much better. And showing like how well my weapons packs have sold. It's like it shows that people want realistic weapons, So glad I'm making them.
Well, that's where I'm going to bring up. So on the site now, you have the weapons pack. You have all the comics here up to issue
the first 4 issues are up. The variant covers for 3 and 4.
And here's the weapons pack.
Look at all awesome those stuff. Weapons.
With the removable mags. And bipod stands. Yeah, I don't know gun terms.
Yeah, the bipod on the saw. It's got the ammo box on the grenade launcher. The barrel, the ammo barrel spins, which is fun.
Nice.
But yeah, the removable mags is nice. That's always fun. It's cool.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, the removable mags fit in mag pouches on the figure's vest, which is
wow, cool. That's awesome, man. That's a nice touch. I'm sure a lot of people will collect that. Will appreciate that once they have all the stuff in hand. Like I'm sure reviewers will point that out. Like all the stuff fits in here and there.
The backpacks open up so that you could put the gear in the backpacks.
Oh, that's so cool. I love stuff like that. It's like functional, even though it's just an action figure.
That happened by accident with the backpacks. I was going through a live stream with the samples, and someone I showed, because the way the backpacks are made, they can't be a solid piece. It would weigh too much, and you have sink marks. So they made the back panel removable, and they were going to glue it on. Someone asked in the chat, they said, "Oh, can the hands fit in the backpack?" And I'm like, "Oh, let me see." And I was like, you know what? They can, and the helmet can, and the mags can. I was like, you know what? I'm going to tell the factory we're not going to glue this panel on. We're going to make the backpacks functional. So it was cool that evolved that way.
Perfect. That's like a fan voice spoke out.
Yeah. I like having the fans involved. That's why I put butterfly joints, because of fan interaction.
Oh, Billy Moon, thank you for the super chat. He says, I'm buying every Action Force weapons pack I can because I refuse to have Nerf guns for my figures. So thank you, Bobby.
Thank you, Billy.
That's awesome, man. Billy, thank you for the super chat. I think these guns are great. You have a counter here. How many are left? This was hundreds more. I think a few days ago.
There was originally 1,400 pieces. I had 1,400 pieces made. And that 147 is what I have left. So that's nice. And they're good because they're solid ABS. They're not PVC like the classified stuff or legend stuff, so they don't bend and like get all weird and wonky,
Yeah, I have a resin printer, and I've printed some weapons and stuff, and it's a lot of headache.
Yeah,
in terms of getting the right material and making it durable. Because you move them around a lot, you're going to put them in and out of hands of characters as you're playing with them.
Yep.
And yes, we all play with our toys. That there's no going around that.
100%.
Anything else you want to open?
Oh, I said I'll give a quick look to
Oh, your Batman.
to the Batman, just because this was one like I was really looking forward to. Like Ryan got me into Mezcos. Batman's my favorite, and this one, when I was looking at all the different versions because they do so many, I'm like, this is my favorite one. Well, it's a really expensive one, and I kept watching it and watching the price, and I'm like, man, these Mezcos hold their value, and they just keep going up. But I was like, if I don't get this Batman now, he's gonna be so expensive later. And I said, I want him. I know he's gonna be great. I'm just gonna pull the trigger on him, and I did, and I'm so happy I did. I opened them up very briefly, but now I can like actually look at him. He's so freaking cool, man. So cool. This one head sculpt, I'll show you, is so good. Like, to me, this is Batman. This is Batman.
Which version is that again?
This is the Supreme Shadow.
Right.
So good. I love that, like, the symbols, like the bat logos, like magnetize on. Like, what a nice touch.
I think that's a pretty cool. I wouldn't say revolutionary. I mean, can you think of anything else that has?
It's innovative. It's definitely innovative.
Innovative, yeah, that's the perfect word for it. And you're almost changing your figure every time you swap an emblem around.
Yeah. I'm a little concerned with how the soft goods will hold up over time, like bending the joints over time, a lot of rub. So I'm concerned about that. I think this figure might be more of a Brian Flynn special and just sit static on my shelf. Just, so
I have heard some concerns about Mezco for that, where the kind of pleathery fabric, it's like if you leave them posed in like if the arms are bent or the knees are bent, like the Daredevil or something, it does flake or start to crack.
That's unfortunate, but it's like I've talked about, like with Hot Toys, like those skin bodies. Like if you leave the elbow bent for a long period of time and then you bend it back, it'll have a stress mark here.
Right.
So it's like the uber premium stuff tends to have these weird flaws, but it's almost like that's what comes. That's like the nature of it,
Yeah.
But listen, man, this thing is cool. This Batman is cool.
Mario just bought a weapons pack, so I get another 30 points on the board.
It's like this big smoke effect. Oh man, these things are cool.
Those look great in photos, and then I realized it's just like a very thin piece of plastic that's been molded with paint, which, good on them.
Yeah.
Because it looks more attractive than the actual build quality feels like.
I would love to meet one of their designers. Do you know where they're based out of?
Mezco?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Are they in the States or are they overseas?
I think their head office is in the States. Wait, aren't they in like New Jersey?
Are they? Four Horsemen are in New Jersey.
I know a lot of
man. I would love to talk to one of their designers or Mez. Like, dude, they do an awesome product. But like I said, I would love for them to do, soft goods Action Force figures, high end Action Force figures. Maybe once the movie comes out and I'm on their radar.
Maybe Mez is watching right now.
Well, I bought a Gomez head just to swap on one of the Swarm Troopers, so that when I get one of the production Swarm figures, I'm going to swap that head out and then like tag them in a picture and be like, hey, let's partner on this one.
A lot of people are saying they're based out of New York.
Okay.
And Mr. Mez did have a very New York accent in that interview. That's right.
Gotcha. I can't wait to watch that interview. I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, I think it's cool that, people are more into doing these kind of talks and interviews. It gives more, because a lot of collectors complain, and they don't really, obviously they're not in the business, so they don't really have the perspective of what causes problems or reasons behind certain decisions made in toy lines. So I think it's cool, like having you here. It's awesome to talk about stuff like that and give a different angle for people.
Wow, his head is magnetized.
Yeah, the thing comes off so you can swap the cape.
Holy crap. Wow. That's pretty awesome, but pretty unexpected at the same time.
Was it scary if you didn't know that magnet was a feature and the whole thing just came off?
Yeah, I was like, what the hell just happened? I tried to bend him at the torso and his head flew off. I was like, holy crap. I kind of wish that the Hush Batman did that, because my one gripe with the Hush Batman is that his cape is too bunched up by his cowl, and
Right.
like this one sits a lot nicer. The Hush Batman is also a different material. It's more like velvety, whereas this one's more like that pleather material.
Mm-hmm.
But man, this figure's so cool. Just
Another
a cool
one.
design.
Paladin Dread says, just stopping in, watching Snyder Cut, but just wanted to say thank you for your work. I'm assuming that's not directed at me, so Bobby, that's for you. Looking forward to the pre-orders coming in. Another person who's stopping the Snyder Cut to watch this?
Thank you for digging the work, but get off and finish watching the Snyder Cut. Please.
Don't listen to Bobby. Finish watching this. We're almost done. We're going to wrap up with that Batman, and you good for like a few more minutes?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So when people send me messages saying, why hasn't my weapons pack order shipped out? I'll be like, well, I was on toying around and, we're...
Don't try to pin it on me. Are you kidding? So what I've learned from, I make some stuff here and there on my own and along with family and work. I get why I have friends who, all have their own businesses too and do their own thing. Like my friend CJ, he makes soft goods for his own website, and he does it. He works for Four Horsemen and other lines, right? So I sometimes get where stuff gets pushed back because you need to make time for yourself. You can't just be working nonstop. It's rough to have to balance all of those things. You need to make time for yourself. Otherwise, like, you're not having fun doing what you're doing.
Exactly. You need a life. You gotta do things. It's like, I try to do a weekly date night with my wife. We try to, go out to lunch, during the week. Got the kids, but it's like, during the day I'm working, at night I'm working, because it's like other companies, Four Horsemen, smaller companies, like even them, they have people doing multiple roles. It's like,
right,
I'm doing the figures, I'm doing the comics, I'm doing the business end of it, I'm managing the cost sheets, I'm managing the expenses, I'm meeting with my accountant, I'm meeting with, the movie stuff, I'm meeting with potential people for, adding to the line. I'm talking with all the wholesalers, doing all their orders. I'm doing all the orders for the stuff on the website. I'm packing up all the orders. So, it's a lot. Like when I think about that,
that's all you. I thought you had at least some. Wow.
Me. Like, dude, with the comics, it's like, yeah, I'm hiring people to do work on the comic, but I'm overseeing all of it, and putting it all together and getting it to the printers. So, yeah, it's all me, baby. I think it's funny when people send me a message and be like, "Hey, what's up, Valaverse team? You guys do great stuff," and I'm like, "Just one."
That's the Scarface quote comes in where he's like, "Who put this thing together? Me." That's who.
World is yours.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. Because there's so like, did you have to learn a lot of stuff on the fly, accounting and doing web sales and putting together a site?
It's all been a learning experience. Like, I had to, like, when I started the business, I didn't know what it took to create a business. So Rhode Island has like a small business class you can take, like, free, and someone will talk about how you set up a business and getting like a tax ID number and that sort of stuff. I had to learn all that. Learning about trademarks when flying for the trademarks. I knew like the designing end of it was easy, and I had vendors to do stuff, sculpting, but I did all the design work. But then, the comics, going out, finding people, finding artists, things like that. A lot of the community has been great. Someone will message me and say, hey, I'm a colorist and, or I'm an artist, or I do this. But great. Show me your stuff. So I employ a lot of people that have reached out to me, which is great. Learning like just the marketing end of it. Like I look at other companies and I'm like, man, they could be marketing their product so much better. And I think like with social media, I was never big on social media until I started this company. I was like a non-existence on social media, but social media is so powerful and it's such a great marketing tool. You have to be very viral about it, and like when I did the Sarge announcement, like that day was probably like the greatest in the history of Valaverse so far, whereas Hasbro had their live stream and then I trumped them with the Sarge thing. So everyone was talking about the Sarge thing and no one cared about what they did. It's like, think viral stuff like that is really cool. Fan engagement, like looking at what companies are doing and seeing where they're missing the mark and saying, no, I'm going to show people test shots. I'm going to walk them through the comments that I'm going to make on this stuff and show people more behind the scenes stuff. Yes, I'm going to be on podcasts. Yeah, I'm going to, talk negatively about some companies because, I want to be able to give people some insight into the other side of it that they're not seeing because they're just seeing it from the consumer side of it. So yeah, it's all been learning, and I'm still learning now, which is great. So, learning how to budget the line, learning how to plan for future waves and everything like that. And then it's like once I hire some people and get an office space, then it's like that's going to be a learning experience too. So it's
right.
All of it. And like the design, I can't wait to just do more of the designing because that's what I know. It's like doing the other stuff is what I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm assuming like you'd have to build it to a point where, you have to hire somebody else to like handle vendors and connecting all that stuff so you can focus on your design and your story and like your overall vision, right?
Yeah.
Just to free up some time for yourself.
Yeah, I can't wait. I got my best friend, he's on deployment. He comes back in April. I'm trying to figure out a job for him so that when he comes back, I'm like, hey, you manage the wholesale orders and all these orders. Take that off my plate. And you can learn that aspect of it and give me more time to do more of the design work. So, yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be great to have some little extra time.
Well, obviously I just learned that you did all that stuff. So that's actually pretty cool and pretty inspiring actually. But obviously, you're a busy dude. So is there any more toys we need to open or you want to plug what you...
I'm going to end on Batman because he's perfect. He's absolutely perfect. But I enjoyed opening up the stuff that I got to open because, it would have just been sitting there for months. But, I like the stuff that I opened. I'm happy with it.
No, that's good.
If you haven't ordered, go order your weapons packs.
Yes. Yeah. So I believe I have the website linked in the description of this video. So guys, when we're done, if you're interested in the weapons pack, do head over there. If not, the website is very easy, valaverse.com. There are 100 some odd units remaining of the weapons pack. Comics are also available there. Oh, Sacrifice Plastic, getting a super chat in right at the end. Thank you very much. I think Bobby will set the standard for action figure companies, how toy companies should be run, and what kind of figures we deserve.
Wow.
Nice.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that compliment.
No, I have to agree, and I'm not just kissing your ass because you're here. The fact that, yeah, we'll talk shit about you on the next one. No, like it's true. You hear the feedback. You see some of the gaps out there in the market and other toy lines, and you're trying to not fall into those same trappings for your brand. So I think that's really cool and really smart. Let me see if I can bring the website back.
I mean, it's also a double-edged sword because I'm sure, say there's a flaw with some of my figures, I'm going to get roasted pretty hard. People are like, you're crapping all over some of these companies and you're doing the same thing. So, I'm sure I'll get it, but, dish it out. I can take it. So we'll see. But fingers crossed I don't have too many flaws in the stuff.
Right. So websites, Instagram is instagram.com/ Valaverse? Is there the in the beginning?
I think it's the Valaverse, but if you just search Valaverse either on Facebook, Instagram, it always comes up with mine.
The Valaverse. I have it written down here. I have notes. This ain't no
Oh, wow.
Rinky Dink podcast. I have
Oh,
notes.
look at that. Yeah.
Dante is not watching. He's probably playing Call of Duty. Yeah, websites there. If you are in Canada and you would like to get some Action Force comics, not comics, figures, action figures, get in on a pre-order. Check out Heroes World. They are Heroes World online on Instagram. And also heroesworld.ca. Talk to my friend John. He is looking to confirm all of his order. He's looking to increase some orders, and I've got mine there, so that's going to be very cool. So yeah, it's great that you worked at a Canadian retailer as well, and it just lucked out with me that it's somebody that I know. So I'm pretty
I think John reached out to me. You know, it's like a lot of these vendors, they reach out to me like, hey, can we carry your product? I was like, Canada, great, absolutely. Whatever helps. You know, it's like Action Forces worldwide. I have vendors in so many different countries, you know, the UK and China, multiples in China, Australia, Canada, US. So it's great that this product can get out to so many different people in so many different regions. I want to get it to every continent.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. That's really good for you. It will very likely pay off if you have that wide of a reach for this first initial launch.
Yeah.
So guys, make sure you follow Bobby on all of those areas. I just want to remind everybody, next week I will be on with Adam Van Wickler. You know him as Playing With Myself on Instagram and all forms of social media. He is, I forget what his role is exactly at Gentle Giant, but he does a lot of lines too. And he also worked on articulated icons or in some capacity. So, you know, more talk about action figures with industry people, which I've been finding to be very interesting. Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing the recap of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier with my friend Troy at 9 p.m. Eastern on this channel and also on Twitch at the same time. Tomorrow, the Kickstarter for Animal Warriors
of the Kingdom. Yeah.
Yes.
Jason's line. Yep.
That got pushed to tomorrow, which I'm pretty excited about, although Mezco depleted some funds today with their Black Skulls launch. But yeah, I'm still looking forward to that. So guys, make another Kickstarter brand out there that I'm going to go in on that one. Plunderlings
Jason does good stuff.
Yeah, you guys had him on. Did you guys have him on?
Yeah, we had him on. Yep.
Right. So, you know, support that other, you know, Kickstarter brands that are making good product. Plunderlings also, they're on pre-order on BBTS, Entertainment Earth. Plunderlings exclusive t-shirts will be available from TAXHF for pre-order next Friday. And if you like these hats, you like some stickers, I'm thinking of, I don't know, doing a little order. Message me on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram.com/toyingaround. And yeah, twitch.tv/toyingaround. Bobby, I'm done plugging my stuff. Thank you for sitting through all of that garbage. Thank you for your time. You obviously do a lot of stuff for your brand. So I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to take a break from my stuff and enjoy the fruits of collecting. This was nice and very much needed.
Awesome. Everybody in the chat, I hope you had fun. I hope you also opened some toys while you were watching. Let me know. Tag me on Instagram if you were unboxing and getting into some sit-up punch poses while you were watching this. I hope you guys had fun. I'll be here every Thursday, 9 p.m. And enjoy your toys. Keep toying around. Peace.
Thanks, everyone.